Oh, did I say that out loud?
Okay, we'll bleep it out.
Yeah, there we go. No, I won't bother.
Hit the dump button.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I need. Oh, did I say that out loud? Okay, there we go. It's come up somewhere. Let me find it. No,
This meeting is being
Yeah,
addressed.
dump button.
yeah, there you go. That's what I need. Oh, did I say that out loud? I cannot believe what this does. It literally puts it up somewhere behind something. I've got it playing back here in the background. So now I have to search all my tabs and find where it's playing. I cannot believe what this does. It literally puts it up somewhere. Yeah, I can you guys hear that? It's us. So now
Yeah.
and I can't find it. Where it's playing. There it is. I got it. I found it. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the Southwest Florida TechNet. And I got to tell you, something's brewing right now in Fort Myers, and I want to go right to that here. There's a big thunderstorm complex that just popped up. We kind of thought the rain was over today, but apparently.
Yeah, I thought so too. And I know this crap pops up.
Yeah, I know. So anyway, I hope this plays. I'm going to try to get it to play here. I have to share my audio, and I'm trying to remember how to do that. Let's see. It's under audio, I think. And then you go
Big blob south of the Caloosahatchee River. I'm looking at the.
okay, I believe you guys will hear this. If not, let me know. I'm going to play something. My nephew, or I'm sorry, my grandchild, who is 12, made us an opener. And I just thought it's really cool. This kid threw this together. He's 12 years old. He's going to get his license soon. But I wanted to show you guys this.
No, I'm not sending my
Thought it was great.
This is awesome.
All right, so there you go, folks. We've got an opener now.
That's great. I love it.
Is that awesome or what? I thought that was great. And he literally made that himself. And I just I was so happy with that. I was like, that is so awesome. He's going to be here in just a little while. I may have him pop in and say hi to everybody.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, but yeah, he did a really good job on that. So anyway, hello everybody and welcome. Like I said, this is the Southwest Florida TechNet. I'm broadcasting tonight from North Fort Myers, where we're right near a large storm complex that has just kind of started up here. And I'm trying to get my other screen back up. You know, I thought that more screens would make my life easier. That would be a negative. Let's see here.
No, it makes it more difficult.
And now it's supposed to make it easier. What the hell? All right, so I got it right over here. So let's take this and pull it right over here, and I'll share that screen. There it is. And here's the weird news. It's almost stationary.
Yeah.
You can see here that the plots aren't really finding any movement on these cells at all. If there's any movement at all, it's generally off to the north. But you can see it literally formed in place and has not moved an inch from where it's forming. And it's right, if you look right out the back of Rick's window there, you'll see it. It's right there.
Oh yeah. I'm hearing it over here.
Yeah, it's right behind your house.
Saw the flash of lightning. I thought this crap was over.
No, oh no. So there we go. That's what's going on right now in your Nowcast. And it's just this one big cell here, and it just it's continuing to grow, which means more people will probably be affected by it. So I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention. All right, enough of that. We'll check back on that in just a minute. And we're going to get to the tropics. There's two disturbances down in the intertropical convergence zone, and we're going to talk about those in just a little while. There's some interesting features. Yesterday, the American model had a Cat 3 hitting Louisiana in 12 days. Today, it's backed off of that and hardly finds Genesis at all in the same system. So the models are all over the place. Today, the Euro shows one coming out of the Caribbean as a Cat 3. So we've got to watch this. There's nothing right now shooting right at Florida in the barrel, but you know this is so early, it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
I think interest from Brownsville to probably the panhandle of Florida should be really watching both of these. Although I think the left one is going to be the one for the Gulf. The right one is going to be an East Coast storm, and we'll talk about all that in just a little while. Let's see, what else did we have? There's a new repeater. Actually, it's not a new repeater. There is a repeater in town now that's been moved, and I want to talk about that. And I'm going to pull up in order to do that. It's probably just easier since I can just share this. I'm going to pull up the newsletter. I put it out in the newsletter. The FMARC, I'll give them credit. They've moved the 170, or as I've been corrected before, the 17. Yeah, that one has been moved from Health Park Hospital all the way over to not very far away, actually, but right over to near Gladiolus and 41 on top of a big building. And it should have about twice the footprint now.
It went from 4 stories to 26 stories.
Yeah. And I can hear it here on my regular radio. It's literally crystal clear, absolutely crystal clear. Why am I not seeing the new one here? Man, I can hear the thunder rumbling out there, both in the shack and also through people's Zoom. I can hear it.
Yeah, you probably hear it mine.
There we go. This is the right week. Okay. Let's move forward here through all this crap. There was a lot of crap this week in the newsletter. But anyway, this is basically the footprint we're looking at. Let's see this one here. That is the green is 5 miles, the blue is 10 miles, the red is 15 miles. I'm up here. I'm up over here. I'm probably about 13 miles myself. And on my base radio, it is full quiet. Absolutely full quiet. So that's not too bad. I can only imagine this should be countywide for anybody with a 20-foot antenna and a base radio.
There was a guy on earlier this afternoon from Punta Gorda.
Yeah, I think somebody in Naples was getting it too. So it's pretty strong.
Yeah, I've already heard they're going to try out some of the nets over on this now. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, we had a scare the other night. I don't know if you heard about it.
No, what happened?
Wednesday night, in the middle of the fusion net. Actually, it wasn't the middle. It was about the end. It got, well, the explanation was that it received an EMP from a nearby lightning strike. And
I think I heard some of that. It was making a really weird noise. I just turned it off.
It was making a really loud buzz sound. Originally, I thought it was somebody trying to come in on the audio side and jam us on the net. But no, it turned out to be worse. But luckily, all I had to do was reboot it and it was fine. But that was scary. Man, we just get it up there and it blows up from lightning.
It threatens to blow up.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, it is a little more of a target, I guess, but lightning will get you. Hell, it'll strike you in a cave if it can find a way. But yeah, anyway, that's the new repeater. I just it's not new. It's I should say that is the new location for that repeater. And if you're wanting to know where it is, I can help you with that too. Let's show you this one.
It's on the south tower of a dual Yeah,
So over here, this is the south tower here. So
Yeah.
it's somewhere on this tower right here. And this is the building, the Riva del Lago, whatever it is, condos. I think it's condos.
condos, yeah.
It's right behind the in-town suites right there, which is behind that big row of like car lots and stuff. Just to kind of give you guys an idea of where it is, I'm going to zoom out slowly so you can see it's north of Gladiolus, south of Daniel, east of Summerlin, west of 41. It's right in there.
Right
And
close to the Home Depot.
yeah, the Home Depot, I believe. Costco's right up here, and Home Goods is there, and then Home Depot is and Lowe's is right here.
Yeah.
Home Depot's right there. So yeah, it's right in that area there.
World is over there.
If
on
you
the-
guys prefer the map view here, I'll show you a little bit of the map view. This is what it looks like on the map view, but it's north of 6 Mile, south of Cypress Lake and Daniels.
Yeah, that's a killer.
It's got a really nice footprint. I got to tell you, it was great. Whoever got that was awesome. It was
Yeah.
as
how
they
far
say, a
away is
good
that
get.
from- So how far away is that from Ave Maria?
Oh, about
You
a
might
million
get
miles.
down there. You might be able to hit it down
If
there.
it depends on what it depends on what he's got here. Let me show you where we're at. We're right here. Here's Ave Maria down here.
Could probably get it.
I bet you can hit it. from-
So here, let's do it. Let's do what we got to do here.
Yeah, you could probably
30
get it.
miles, and look, it's all swamp between here and there.
you
There's
can
no
probably hit
buildings.
that Without a bit of trouble. Even
There's
with a
no
handheld.
cities, no towns, no big power transformer stations. That's a pretty clean shot right there. It's over a
Yeah.
bunch of
What's
grass
the
and
frequency
swamp.
of that repeater so I can relay that to Paul, Steve?
150, 145, 170. And it's got the standard PL, right? 136.
136.5 is the PL time.
Yeah. And it's got the standard offset. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, but yeah, it's a good repeater. It was a decent repeater before, but it lacked height. And now we got 50 watts sitting on top of this huge ass building down there. So
Yeah.
it was a good job for them, and they did a good job getting it put up. In other news for repeaters, and I don't get all their emails, so if you guys know more than me, let me know. But right now, I guess the link repeater system is down. They're trying to put some new stuff in and get things going again.
Yeah, the Cape Coral repeater, they're in the process of getting internet into the 147.225 machine. And the problem there is internet access at the hospital. You know,
Of the-
they moved that recently, so it's got a bigger footprint too.
The latest gossip on the 7225 machine is that the lines have been laid, and all they need to do is get the computer stuff set up and change the MAC address and stuff like that. So it may be as soon as next week that's back up, the whole linking system.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were working on it today. I actually listened to them for several hours.
Yep, that's right.
Steve and a couple of them out there.
Rich.
Probably Rich, and I don't think who else. Let me down GPI, that's Steve.
Right.
Did
Probably
you get
Pantasia, Steve probably. out there, 'cause
Yes, Pantasis was the other one that was out there.
Can you close the bathroom door?
Okay, so I just got my monitor up so I can see what YouTube is putting out. I'm trying to figure out how to adjust the views that you see on YouTube. There's really, it's kind of weird because it doesn't really adjust like you think it would. But I'm going to switch it back to speaker view and see if that's any better. I like when it just puts the one speaking on full screen, you know, instead of just having Brady Bunch mode.
Yeah, so on the one that's streaming, you want to go to view and set it to speaker view. I
Yeah,
think.
that's what it's on. I'm going to see it. It may just take a few minutes for it to catch up over there. But anyway, no big deal there. So, all right. I'm trying to think. Let's go back real quick and just check that check that storm real quick because I have a funny feeling it's getting there. Let's see here. Hold on. Let me just get back over here again. I don't know what happened to that screen, so I'm just going to pull it up again. All right, and let me go back to here. All these buttons. It's it's very difficult to like for us to like produce ourselves here. All right, there we go. And it's hard to produce remotely for someone else too. It's very difficult. All right, here we go. There's that storm out there. It's now looks like it's right, Rick. It's right on your side yard.
Yeah, I know. It's not far from here.
It's like right getting close there.
Yeah.
It's right out the window on the right there.
That looks like where we're supposed to start the bomb drop right there.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord, that's a pretty strong storm right there. I mean, that's it's getting there. I wanted to mention to you guys while we're looking at this real quick. They've changed channels around. You need to rescan your air channels on your television. Rescan your air channels on your television.
Hey, Ian, I
yeah.
didn't find I needed to do that. I just turned the TV on and was able to pick up everything just fine.
Yeah, but there may be more that you're not aware of. That's the thing. They've added a few channels as well, to my knowledge.
Yeah.
But here's the ones I know. 92.5 Fox News, the channel I work for, and I'm on in the afternoon from 5 to 8. That has changed from air channel 11-5 to air channel 46-3.
Yeah.
Christ. Anyway, so 46-3 is where you'll find our digital radio signal now on TV. And there's a new feature on there on 11-3. 11-3 is now the new radar, which I really like the new radar, other than everything's got this funky blue color, which I don't really like that, but everything else on this new radar is really great. And you can now see the radar yourself on 11-3.
I got that on 30.2.
That's somebody else's radar, I think, because
Oh, it's I know that I recognize that.
That's the
radar.
public station. That's
that's odd because that would be coming from the PBS tower, and that we have nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
They're, matter of fact, they're our direct competition on both TV and radio. They're not
That's
much
fine.
of it, but you know how it is. Somebody has to compete against us. Anyway, ratings are funky in this town, but I'm not going to get into that right now. Anyway, so I just wanted to bring that to you guys' attention. There's been some changes on cable. I bought one of these little $45. It looks like a little mini Yagi. It also looks like it fires phasers somehow. It's this really, I showed you guys, remember?
Oh, yeah.
I put it up there at 20 feet and I can spin that thing around. I've reprogrammed my TV 3 or 4 times, and everywhere I point this thing, I get more channels. It won't quite make Tampa. I need to get it up around 40 feet. I think I can make Tampa with it. I'd really like to get TOG 44 out of Tampa. That used to be my favorite station when I was growing up. But anyway, that was the only station that had Star Trek on down here. 11 o'clock at night on like Saturday nights, I would stay up and watch it. Anyway, I had this array I built on their roof made out of wire, and it picked up WTOG 44. My roof faced perfectly north. Anyway, but anyway, that was always a fun time back then when we had 3 channels and they really sucked. All right, let's see here. What else do we got? Oh, let me stop this sharing. We're going to keep an eye on that storm. It's near here, but it just doesn't.
Just kind of staying where it was. It
Yeah.
doesn't seem to be getting any closer to here. I'm just hearing a lot of rumbling.
Yeah, I'm going to show you guys the progression here. It's just kind of growing and morphing. Notice there's some frames where it looks like it's going to go north, and then the last couple, it looks like it's going to go south or west. So I think it's basically just growing into what energy's left out there, and it's just moving
Kind
around.
of like that cat food commercial. Chow, chow, chow.
I want you guys to notice what we always note with these storms. I'm going to see if I can do this. I always have a hard time with this. I really shouldn't bother. But let me see if I can do this. You see this Ah, crap. Hold on. There it is. Draw. There we go. All right. Notice this line right here that goes right along here. Can you guys see that pink I'm putting in there? Can you see
Yeah.
that?
Yep.
You see that line?
Yeah,
Notice the river.
yeah.
Isn't that interesting? This river and the Peace River, like the Peace River up here too, these things affect, they really affect everything that goes on with these storms. And see, right now, because there's no steering currents, it's building right up to the edge of that water. I'm noticing that it's stopping all along here. And I don't know. It's interesting that you see that the river actually, it's actually even more than that. It's hold on.
Pressure and temperature inversion.
Yep. It's cool stuff right along here. Here's your riverbank.
Yeah, that stuff. Now I'm looking at Wink's radar on my other set, and it looks like the
Oh no, I missed it. Actually, it goes right here.
looks like
That's the actual river
it's
right
building
there.
toward the southwest.
That the last few frames, yes, the last few frames look like it's building to the southwest. You can see there. I'm getting better with this. Okay, yeah, you can see in these frames here, it looks like it's building to the north. But then all of a sudden you get to these last few frames and it takes a thrust to the southwest.
Yeah.
So it's hard to tell. It's almost like it came up along that river and now it's trying to move in a different direction. But there's something about this river, guys. I'm telling you, it's really cool to watch how it affects what's coming in and all that. Anyway, all right, let's leave that alone. All right. Tonight, for our main event tonight, we're going to talk about a little incident that happened, and we're going to kind of talk about what everybody's thoughts are on this, because I'm relatively new ham. And I've only had my ticket a little over 2 years now. And I will admit, I found some of the nicest people I've ever met in ham radio. And I've also found some really unpleasant people in ham radio, power tripping and all kinds of weird stuff. And Joseph got to see some of that at the Ham Fest. So Joseph, do you want to just tell us about it?
Yeah. So Hamfest was last weekend, the 20th and 21st, I believe, of August. And here, since the TechNet or the tech team in Florida is we do like branches. So we have the North Alabama Tech team as a branch of the Southwest Florida Tech team. So we went down to Hamfest with a banner and a table and some business cards, and we set up there. And we also had a radio. And of course, we have radios. Half the people there walking around without radios. I'm like, what are you doing? But we had the radios. We made sure of that. So what actually transpired on the radio was we were monitoring 146.520, the calling frequency. And some of my buddies won some handhelds as part of a challenge Gigaparts was doing. So they won like 3 handhelds, and they all get on their brand new handhelds. And we were just talking back and forth a little bit to each other from across the room to try out the new radios. And we started, I started pretending to be like an FBI agent watching somebody. And so or like a cop, like reading out a description of somebody. And I was describing my friend across the room. So we did that for a little bit, and it sort of morphed into us talking, or me at least, talking like a C beer. Now I know what you're going to think, but no, we were not saying cuss words or doing anything like that. All we were doing basically was like, I was being like, this is Mr. Statewide on the 5-2 got down, saying stuff like that. And all my friends are playing along and everything on the radio. And to my surprise, several people came back over the air who were either near the actual event. They were near the Von Braun Center. There was a couple of people who were mobile who came in, and there's a bunch of people in the actual event who overheard us and joined in. And it was hilarious having people like play along with you on their ham radio. So we must have had like, I want to say 15, 20 people on the 5-2 at one point at its peak. And we just hung out on there goofing off for about almost 2 hours. And we were just talking about all kind of stuff and just playing with the radios. I mean, we were IDing on time. We were saying our call signs like you're supposed to. We weren't playing music or doing anything illegal. And because we were not talking in the manner that most hams talk in, we actually attracted some bad attention, which I kind of expected given what we were doing. So we had a couple incidents. We had number one, shortly after we started, some guy came over the radio, and all the audio is available on the TechNet YouTube channel. We uploaded all the audio from it. So there's like
unlike the government, we have full transparency here.
Yeah, they don't have transparency.
We have all the audio is available. There's a best hits, and then there's the full unedited audio, which also is timed up with the stream. So you can see once we start streaming, it switches to the live view. And then we have another one, which was just the trouble that we had. It's called Karens of Hamfest. And the first guy we had come on, the first guy that came on tells me, you will lose your license if you do not get off this frequency. It's pretty much what he said. And that was completely false and not true. So I did not get off that frequency. I continued to be on that frequency. And all our people were on there too, having a good time. And a few moments later, he's like, if you were a ham, or he says like, if you're licensed, you would know that this frequency is only for passing traffic. He says something along those lines. He had a weak signal, so I didn't get everything he said. But he says something about only using that channel to pass traffic, which is not even what it's supposed to be used for. The call channel
it's
is
a national calling frequency.
Right. You don't pass traffic on there in the traditional sense. So he says that, and we continue. And then he says, shortly after that, he says, you just lost your license, son. and all me and my friends were
this guy was a real douche, man.
So we're laughing about it, and I come back to him, and I'm like, since I was still in C-Beer mode, I was like, hey, Mr. Radio Nazi. Hey, this is Mr. Statewide. We still got a license right here on the 5.2, breaking it down. You know, I responded to him in that manner. And then I was like, hey, we're all good here. We're just hanging out, 73 Street. And I wasn't like overly rude aside from the Radio Nazi comment. And then he's like, all this is being recorded anyway, and it will be turned into the FCC Monday morning. So we were like, okay, whatever. And we continued on with our fun. So that was the first guy. And we come to find, we checked Monday to see if there was a ticket submitted, and there had not been. We checked again today, and he did actually submit like a investigation ticket to the FCC, but it doesn't matter how much they investigate because we didn't break any laws. So we're not worried about that. So that was guy number one that caused us problems. He didn't like what he heard, and he said, all right, I'm going to harass these people and report them to the FCC. Okay. The second guy was the Huntsville Hamfest chairman. We didn't know he was the chairman at the time, but he was the chairman. And I'm not exactly sure what he would be doing at the actual event as the chairman. But he was there, and towards the end of our shenanigans, he comes over to the table, and the first thing he does right out of the gate is he bumps into one of my friends there. He kind of shoves him aside, and you can see it in the video. And then he says, you guys need to get licenses. So right out of the gate, accuses us of being unlicensed. And we all tell him, no, we are all licensed. And everybody recites their call sign to him. And he goes on to say, you guys are not funny. And we say, well, we've had quite a few people in here who would beg to differ. And he says, you're overdriving your radios. You sound like crap. And we're like, well, that's not a law. So we're BNC beers. That's what you do. Who cares? So he's like, you're overdriving your radios. You sound like crap. And we're like, okay, we're BNC beers. And then he says, you're on an open frequency. And we're like, we know. We're on the call channel. Every frequency is open. You know, what are we supposed to be on a private frequency? I don't think that's very legal. Anyway, he says that, and then he says, you're on an open frequency. And then we're like, we know. And he's like, you guys are not funny. And I'm like, we had a whole bunch of people out here having a good time. You know, it's not quite fitting with what you're saying. And he repeats that we're not funny, and then he finally leaves. So that was the chairman. He wasn't too happy with us doing that, I guess. And the thing is, the 5-2 was not designated by anybody for the Hamfest to be any official frequency. They had a repeater that everybody was supposed to use. 5-2 was only being used by a select few people who just happened to be on it. So it's not like we stepped on their simplex frequency, you know, that I can understand them being upset about. That frequency was not designated for their use. They had another frequency, simplex, a few kilohertz off, that they were using. But we didn't step on them. So all the outrage was just because we were getting down on the great big world of sound on 2 meters instead of 11 meters. And we had that happen. And then at the end of the event, when it was time to pack up, the chairman was just very rude to me and my brother, and just wasn't very nice or anything. And then over the next couple of days, we've had some people, I talked to a few people on simplex. One guy said we were being childish. I was like, well, we're trying to get youth into amateur radio here, which, by the way, we did very well. So he called us childish, and I was like, well, you may have a point there, but that's kind of a good thing.
And you're 19.
Yeah, we're 19 here, getting the
I'm
youth in.
66 and still a little bit childish.
It's a good thing too.
Yeah, I mean, we got
Good
like,
for you.
Ham radio is about fun.
yeah, it's about fun, and we weren't hurting anything. You know, it's not like we had fun at someone else's expense.
And you weren't using one of the 7 words you don't use on radio television.
No, we didn't say anything like that. And
No,
everybody
actually, I was
ID'd.
connected and I listened to the entire exchange live over Zoom, because we were getting ready to go live on the internet, which we went live on the internet right before the curmudgeon came over. And it was fun because we got to actually watch that live. But I was listening. Nobody swore. They were IDing probably too much.
Yeah. Like
He
every
kept- every
transmission.
time they talked, they were IDing, and then as soon as they would ID and say something, some other guy, come on, you didn't ID, I didn't hear your ID, and then it would just go back, and they were yelling at each other for not IDing and stuff. So I'm like, to tell them they're not IDing is ridiculous, because they were literally IDing way too much. It's like, stop it already. That one guy was funny. He had a funny accent. He's like, I don't know why you guys aren't. You're just not IDing, and I don't know why. And it was
Connor.
just, he's hilarious. That guy was really funny, dude. I listened to a lot of that. That was great. But listen, the point, what we're trying to discuss tonight, we're not trying to discuss tonight. We're not trying to put down these people or anything directly. What we want to discuss tonight is these guys were accused of breaking the law because they were talking and having a good time on the 5-2, or as I call it, the 520. But I guess that's kind of what we're putting out there for the open topic tonight is there's kind of a gentleman's agreement in ham radio that we're going to
Got it.
use FM on the channels we're supposed to use FM on, and AM on the ones we're supposed to use AM on. But it's not like when I used to work at the sheriff's department or the fire department or even emergency management, we had very specific radio protocols and key and codes and everything. But the radio protocols we have here in ham radio are voluntary. They're a gentleman's agreement. And I just that's my feelings on it. And I would like to go around and have everyone that would like to comment on it, and let's have an open discussion on it. Do you guys think it's worth giving up one of our precious silent channels for a few minutes to let the kids play and bring a few people into the hobby? And number two, that I want everybody to kind of talk about is, do you feel there's a decorum or level of professionalism that's required on ham radio, or is any transmission that falls underneath the FCC guidelines would be legal? And that would be the second question. So let's go around. Who wants to go first?
I will.
Okay, go.
First
Chris.
of all, my opinion is that whatever they did was fine. I got no problem with it at all. Second of all, as you said, Ian, there's no legal binding anything that says they can't use that channel for whatever they want. There's only a agreement that it's a national calling channel, and theoretically you're supposed to call somebody and move to another frequency. But it's not a law. It's just an agreement.
Yep.
And you guys were in close proximity, and I had no problem with it. Unless I wanted to call, and you guys probably would have stopped and let me call somebody, because
Of course, yeah.
I mean, I know you, Joseph, you don't seem like an evil person to me. So if I wanted to call somebody, you probably let me in there, call them, and then go back to having fun again.
Actually, several people did call and they got answered them back. And one guy asked if they knew where any good restaurants were. So the traffic was still being carried. They were still talking to people on there. Yeah. And here's the other thing. It was a low power mobile that he had on low power, or it was portables, and they were all inside a big steel building. So it's not like many people outside of the area right there were even hearing.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's not like you were disrupting traffic on the highway, which I don't ever hear any.
Yeah, our signal, we asked a few people around Huntsville, and even the ones who live semi close to the Von Braun Center said they didn't even hear us. They heard I was operating my radio. I had a GP1 antenna on a tripod, and I had it at 50 watts a few times. I had it on high power, but for the majority of it, I was on 5 watts, just like everybody else. And our signal barely left the general vicinity. I mean, we were out in the parking lot down the street, a little bit of a ways, but not citywide or anything. We were pretty confined.
This is just how you got to get to older hams to understand that, like at the next meeting, you just take a look around the room and see how many of them are over 70. And,
Hey, I'm over 70.
well, it's nothing wrong with being
people need to go
older,
get a life.
but
I
What
feel
about-
over 70.
and I'm 64. What about when we're gone? Who's going to have and continue the hobby?
I wonder how they would react if it was September 19th and y'all were all talking like pirates.
Yeah, I know.
September 19th is Talk Like a Pirate Day.
Yeah.
And we used to have a blast with that in Austin.
I mean, yeah, that's your patriotic duty. You have to do it.
Just
I
tell
love
them you're
that.
Buccaneers football fans or something,
There you go.
All right, next opinion.
Next up.
Well, my opinion on it is if somebody would have complained that we do it on 5.2, I'd have most probably said, okay, it is a ham fest with a lot of folks, most probably listening. I'd have picked a different frequency. I'd have spun the dial and gone up, 10, 20 kilohertz and been done with it and still had all my fun.
Yeah. That is something I've been thinking about. We can do that. We can, if we go next time and we want to repeat it, we would probably pick a frequency that would be off 5.2.
You might find that they might not let you come under your name if the manager saw your banner and he knows who you were.
Yeah, we might have to.
They might say,
rename the group.
Yeah, we're gonna see. There was rumors about that the chairman saying that we couldn't come back, but I haven't heard anything about it except for rumors. So so going off frequency is something that would have probably made everyone else a bit happier. The ones who were upset, it would have been happier, but at the same time, we wouldn't have got the amount of interest that we got if we had just been on another frequency, because the way we got everybody paying attention was because they were already monitoring this frequency that had been silent. So I'm thinking next year, if we really want to do it right, we could put up a big sign that says the frequency that we're on, like a real big sign, a banner that says 146.500 or something like that, So yeah, I completely understand if being on the actual calling frequency was a bit of a problem. That I completely would agree with, actually, and accept that. So what it is, what it is. That's where we were on.
Yeah, the bottom line is that as a courtesy, that would have been cool, but there's no law on any of that. I mean, everything was fine. So, the biggest problem the guys seemed to have was, one, you're all not licensed, which every single one of them was licensed. Even his younger brother had a license. Everybody there was licensed. And number two, his problem was, you're not being professional on the radio. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was a hobby.
It says amateur.
It's a hobby, for Christ's sake. We can talk about, you can literally have Bible study on here.
That's right.
You could have a global warming study on here, whatever religion you want. I mean, you could literally do whatever. It's as long as it's you're not saying the big 7 words, which is down to 3, and you're not you can't say FC or S. Yeah. But as long as you're staying away from those, and you're staying away from derogatory content, like calling people names and things in a mean way, and in vulgarity, talking about sex acts and things like that. I mean, I have read this. I was accused by somebody several times on open frequencies of violating FCC's rules, and this does bug me. I was accused of violating the rules for, I used the term on the radio one night. It really jerks me off when they do that. And I had a guy totally freak out on me on the radio. He since we've kissed and made up since, but he totally freaked out on me on the radio over saying, well, that really jerks me off that they planned that ham fest on a weekday. And he got mad. And I'm like, I don't understand the hostility over this, You don't want me to say what I really could have said and still got away with it. And then he says, well, you need to learn what you can say on the radio. And I said, I'm a professional broadcaster. No one on this net knows better what they can and can't say on this radio. And I think we both shut our radios off at that point. But anyway, because we didn't want to argue, because we're all friends, But no, it's one of those things. I don't like that. And I also had our radio Nazi down here in Lee County. I don't want to get into mentioning Tom's name or anything, but we have a radio Nazi here in town. He used to be one of those FCC snitch guys, and he used to hound me on the radios, correcting me on open channels and stuff. And I think that's why I'm so sensitive to this. I mean, I got run off the 685 trying to do a net on there. He would come on constantly and tell me, you didn't identify, you were on too long. 2 of your people didn't, this didn't go right. You got to do this right. And I'm like, I'm not going to be corrected on an open channel. And so, hey, here we are on Zoom, and I kind of like it here better anyway. But there's a lot to be said here and a lot to unpack. I understand. But the reason I bring this up, the reason Joseph brings this up, is everywhere we go, we seem to have this problem where people are never happy with what we're saying on the radio, how we're saying it. Joseph and I were talking on the radio here in town one day, and one of us made the comment, well, maybe somebody was keying the mic over us on purpose. And another local ham, I won't mention names seriously this time, came on and says, you guys need to stop being disparaging on the radio and stop doing this and doing that, the other thing. And I said, and you need to read the Constitution, my friend. And that's kind of how that ended.
Oh, jeez.
But why, guys? It's open radios. We can use these like telephones as long as we follow those little rules I just said a few minutes ago. You can talk about your golf game. You can't go through your plumbing pipe order for your job order in the morning. That would be a business. Can't do that.
Yeah, I can't use it.
Okay, got that. Easy. Anything that's nonprofit, you can use it for. I mean, like we can do nonprofit races and nonprofit events. We can do communications for them and stuff like that. So I mean, it's important, I think, for everybody to understand that. And I'm not even saying you guys are the smart ones. But I think it's important for everybody in ham radio to understand what's legal and what's considered proper or appropriate. And I think that, like everything else in this world, proper and appropriate changes every year. A little bit. There was a time when if I said damn, there were 3 of you would have been offended and clicked out.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I slip and say things on here that are pretty, words I probably shouldn't say.
I used to have a friend when I was up in Biloxi in the Air Force. He said the dam and the hell are perfectly all right on the radio.
Yeah.
And he was a lawyer. So
Oh, there you go. You don't want to mess with him. But anyway, we've gotten down now to where it's not all that hard. I'd like to get some other comments. Rick or anybody else out there have any comments for on this?
I just think that some people need to chill out and get a life. I mean, give me a break. It was a little bit of fun. And people need to learn to just sometimes just blow stuff off and not get as Neil Bortz had said, get their panties in a wad over nothing. I mean, this is stupid.
Just be thrilled that somebody's using a channel and talking.
I'm glad somebody is using the frequency. I mean, that's the way I feel like when a repeater comes up and somebody starts using it. I said, fine. Even though they talk about drugs and their illnesses and all that, well, I said that's fine. That's there's plenty of dial space for other things too. So it's just give me a break. Don't sit there and get all worried because somebody imitates a CBer and says a couple of funny things. I would love to heard it. I think it's hilarious.
Okay, next, who else wants to say something?
I had gone through everybody, at least in here. We had two people in the YouTube chat who were saying stuff, and they were supportive of it.
All right. Well, if you see anything in there we need to read out, let me know. I'm checking the other chat's empty right now. So
yeah, Zoom chat's empty.
Okay. All right. Well, that's I just wanted to discuss that tonight with you guys, and just I can't believe we're back here again with the same kind of stuff that's already happened over and over and over again. But you know what? That's what's great about ham radio is none of it is illegal.
Mhm.
You know, it's just I try really hard to stay in. I'll tell you what, I 100% stay in my FCC allocation. And I try very hard to stay within the voluntary allocations that we've all agreed to, basically. You know, I use the AM calling channel, for instance, if I'm going to do some AM calling or whatever. And I do like the 5.2. I try to monitor the 5.2 here. I think it's good. It's funny when I go up to the mountains, people use the 5.2 all the time up there. They do POTA contacts on 5.2 up in the mountains.
Oh, that's fun.
I've probably made 6 or 8 POTA contacts on 5.2, and most of those are them calling. I put a VHF on an antenna up there, and I put one of the two sides of the radio on 5.2, and then I put the other one on that big stick we always talk about up there that I can get at my cabin. That big talker up on Lookout Mountain or whatever it is. All right. Yeah, go ahead.
Bring up the radar. It's changed.
Yeah, it's kind of morphing south here. I'll bring it up. I got it.
It's moved toward Ponderosa.
It's almost rotating.
Yeah, it is weird. It's barely moving. Let me get it up here. You know, as you get older, it's harder to get it to come up. There we go. All right, there it is right
Don't
there.
say that on radio.
Yeah, if you put it in motion, you'd see it's kind of curling. At least I did with my radar. See, right there.
Yeah, there's kind of a roll. There's like a roll in it right there.
It's like a blob is just going down toward Fort Myers Beach.
That river kept it south. It finally made it a little bit in the southeast Cape down here.
Right where I live.
Oh, are you down here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's doing pretty good. You haven't got much lightning though, but
No, I haven't. I don't see much rain, but then again, it's dark out.
It's not raining that much here either. It may
can-
be raining a little bit, and that's about it. We hear some thundering and grumbling, and that's about it.
And my dog's under my chair, so it must be doing something.
yeah, let's see. I think that's still about all the action there is. It's there's really not much else going on. It's just that one big storm right there holding over South Fort Myers.
Yeah.
The same thing happened yesterday, but it was up in this part of the woods up here.
Yeah.
And now tonight it's South Fort Myers that gets it, and we really haven't got it. It rained here pretty good about 3 or 4 o'clock this afternoon, or 5 o'clock. I guess about 5 o'clock, and that's it. It's just been it did cool it down though. Okay, so anyway, enough of that. We'll go back to that in a few minutes and check it again. As we look at the live radar.
Looking at the blob.
Yeah, looking at the blob. All right. So the let's see, I want to go back to that other thing here. Let's see here. Does anybody have anything else they would like to discuss on the on just the your thoughts on legal versus proper, or any of the stuff we've discussed so far?
I mean, I could go on all night, but
Yeah, I don't want to beat it too hard. But I also know that but I also think it's important because if we're going to get new people into this,
I don't think that's a very good example for new people.
no, it's not, and it's going to turn them off every time.
Yeah.
You can do this without walking up like an authority figure. I mean, we
No,
all know
that's-
kids don't like authority figures. I mean, come on. We have to
As a
somehow
kid,
get them. We have to somehow get them in the ham radio while they think they're in
We
charge of
want
something.
them to enjoy the hobby. We don't need a bunch of radio fascists running around.
There you go. There you go.
it's just and I can speak from experience and from my friends as well. They've told me the same thing, that when the youth get into radio right now, we already have very low numbers of people getting into radio. And the ones who do don't really tend to stick around. I can't tell you how many people I saw take their exam in Fort Myers, and I never heard them on the air ever.
Nope.
I would talk to them. I'd be like, "You getting your license?" "Oh yeah, this is my first time with the license." And I'm like, "All right, come hang out with us." Never ever heard them, and I would monitor like all day. So we have a problem with not retaining new licensees, and that applies not just to the youth but to everybody. And when I've asked people, hey, what made you lose interest? Why aren't you on the radio? And they're like, and the ones who are honest, they say that they were just, there wasn't much going on and they were bored. So, or they got yelled at, one or the other. It's usually a combination of both. And I've had several people tell me the same thing now. So I think if we want to save the hobby and have band space and not lose all our frequencies in 30, 40 years, then we're going to have to make a change. And even if it's not a change that we just make in one day, we just have to be more accepting of things that are not considered normal. So
Some things that may not.
I mean, at the end of the day, you have a transmitter and a microphone, and it's up to you to say what you want to say. And
this hobby could stand a little humor.
it really could. I mean, you have, if you go and just look up a random amateur radio club that has a repeater, I almost promise you that they're going to have this 5-page long PDF of repeater etiquette. There's one
God,
club.
they all have that. Yeah.
They've got their PDF. Oh, read our repeater etiquette PDF. And it's like, don't talk about this. Don't talk about this. Don't do 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 this. It's just a list of mundane things that they just have to police. And so I think we need less of that. And we need more, just pick up the mic and say something, talk about whatever you want to talk about, and you don't have to limit it. So
It's just usually you use the seven words you don't use on radio and television. And
yeah, you'll be fine.
yeah.
I think you need to start a new net up there called the CB net. And literally the net would be done like a CB radio, but you would use your call signs instead of rubber ducky.
Gosh. Oh man.
The chicken band command.
That's right.
That would be net control for you right there.
Chicken band command.
Face
right.
commander or some crazy thing,
Oh man. Yeah, well, we're working right now to put up a repeater here for our use, because we know if we adopt a repeater around here and do anything remotely like what we did on 5.2, that we're going to get kicked off that repeater pretty quickly. So we're working on putting up our own system, and then we're going to work to tell all the new licensees and tell everybody, if you want a repeater, that's fun, come over here. And we're going to sort of brand the repeater as the free speech repeater, whatever you want to call it, renegade repeater or something like that, because those repeaters, I tell you what, the renegade repeater and the Miami repeater are the only two that I know of that truly went the free speech route. and they are like the most popular. Well, the Miami's shut down now, but when it was active, it was just extremely popular. Same thing with the Renegade repeater in California. Those frequencies, everything else will be dead, and those frequencies will just be constantly in use. So the numbers don't lie. Having a repeater that you sort of brand as being free speech or whatever, something like that, it works, and you get people involved, and then you have people listening. I mean, this guy right here, in the YouTube chat, we've been talking with him. We actually got him on the Zello group recently, but this guy in Miami says he got licensed because of the 325 Miami repeater. So people stumble across the frequency and they like what they hear and they get licensed, and there you go. Now you've got a ham who's interested in it. And so yeah, being silent, letting the repeater sit idle in case of emergency, that kind of mentality has to go if we want to keep this hobby alive. And so that's what we're going to try and do here in Huntsville, is have a sort of different kind of group that likes to have fun on the air. So
Which band repeater you gonna put your repeater on?
we're putting it on 2 meters, and the frequencies are very full up here on 2 meters,
Yeah.
but we did manage to find a frequency. That's the other thing. People like to hang on to frequencies a lot of the time, especially in crowded areas like this. So we
They do the same thing to good call signs too.
Yeah.
we
Yeah, a lot of
found
people repeaters.
we found a frequency of a repeater that's still listed in a repeater book, but the actual RF hardware has been off the air for many years.
Yeah.
So we're going to effectively take over that frequency and use it for our system, because if it's sitting there silent, it's being wasted. So
That's right.
we're going to put our repeater on that and hopefully have a good time and see where it goes from there.
Put your call on it, and if somebody has a problem with it, they'll contact you.
Yeah, this guy in the
And you can tell them to piss off.
Mike in the YouTube chat here says it has a good point. He says, look at the statewide SARnet. You can't talk unless it's a radio check. 90% of the time it's quiet. And if you do have a chat with someone, there's someone there that's going to come berate you for it. And again, speaking from experience, I mean, I got on there one evening with my little Baofeng handheld, and I found somebody who was fun to talk to and just having a good time. And we were just having a blast on the SARnet. And then after about 5 or 6 minutes, some guy comes on and he's like, got to keep the frequency open. And it's like, all right, we all got off, and repeater sat silent for the rest of the night. It was like,
Yeah.
I know. And you know that I do agree that, that I see both sides of that one. The SARNet's connected to 42 towers, and it's also the one where you could get on there and call for help and someone would help you. And I kind of get that, but I also believe they should allow general conversation on there as long as you allow breakers. I mean, I don't think it's a problem, but whatever, it is what it is.
And another, they have this whole mentality of it's not just the technicalities of what they do, but it's the mentality as well. I mean, if you go on there with you're a new ham, you just got your Baofeng in the mail, and you're like, all right, I'm going to get on the SARnet. Well, Baofengs come with their Roger beep enabled by default. You key up on that SARnet, and you're going to have somebody immediately tell you to turn that off. I mean, I personally like Roger beeps. I know a lot of people don't, and that's fine. But this guy is brand new, and you're already like, and they're not even nice about it too. I've heard this so many times. They're like, oh, you have your Roger beep on. We don't do that.
It's like
here.
they have an attack dog standing.
They do. They do.
With a
They
nice little
do.
provocation.
That is true.
They do. And so whether that, they're in the right, I guess they can, if they want people to not use Roger beeps, they can tell them that. But it's just this whole mindset of just being not necessarily super rude, just not really that friendly either.
Yeah.
Well, as long as you leave a good enough space in between push to talks for somebody to break in, they won't complain too much. And the guy that usually does it is Pat, K4 NRD.
K4NRD, Madison County.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I've been listening to him
Yeah.
for 2 years now.
I can't. This guy is almost 24/7.
Oh yeah.
Man.
Yeah, I think he's got it wired to his house.
And when the storm comes through there, you can hear him on his HT hiding under his desk.
Yeah. Yeah. The SARNet's pretty unique. I mean, we're one of the few states that has such an advanced statewide system. A lot of the big systems are all internet dependent, and this one's not. As you guys know, it's all RF sent from tower to tower to tower. So, and it's all,
Microwave.
it's all microwave. So it's good stuff. Anyway, I guess, the next, I guess that's really all we have on that. If there's nothing else, the next thing, is there anything else on that? Anybody else want to say anything on that? Okay, well, let's just move right along here. The next thing I got in the newsletter, if you guys remember last week, we did all the websites, and I was asked by a number of people if I could publish the list of websites. And yes, I did. I published, as promised, the list of websites from last week. And you can see they're in order, in the order they were given. If I missed one, send it to me and I'll put an addendum in next week. But I believe I got them all. Those, I literally printed out the chat log and then just added a little bit of text to it to explain what each one was. But these are all your links. You can click on them right in the newsletter. So I just wanted to show you guys, I got all that in there for you. All those awesome websites from last week are now all on one page for you to check out. All right. And let's see, let's just go back up here real quick. There's been a lot going on. The tropics. Let's do the tropics real quick. I need like a sounder. Tropical update.
Breaking news.
Yes. The following is a tropical update. All right. So let's see here. I want to go to here and there and everywhere. Yep, there's where we're at. We're still basically looking at the same same setup here. We've got these two areas, one at 30% and the other at 20%. And this one, as it gets up in this area here, gets a little dangerous because we've got that loop current this year.
Yeah.
The same loop current that existed the year Katrina hit Louisiana is existing this year. And when a storm gets in between here in this area right here, it hits extremely warm water in a loop current, and it can accelerate growth and also stimulate genesis. So yeah, an important deal there, really. All right, none of these have been named yet. None of them have gotten anything. They're just getting invest numbers at this point. I'm not even sure if I don't even think they've actually issued an official invest number on these yet. So
Yeah.
it's still very early. We're still very early. You know, I like to get these early and check them out. All right, this is the American model, the GFS. And we're just going to move forward through time here, see what happens. It does pick up. I want you to notice the one by the Yucatan Peninsula over here, right here. That is the left one, and this is the right one, just so in case you kind of lost them there as we came across. Now, I want you to look at what happens to the one over by Cuba. It comes right off of the point on the Yucatan Peninsula there, and it moves up into the Gulf of Mexico and immediately begins to deepen down into what's probably right there, going in just south of Brownsville as a Category 2 hurricane. And the only reason it's not stronger is because it doesn't have a lot of time right there. But that's interesting. That's the American model. And the American model washes the second one out. I don't know if you saw that. Let's go back to here. It washes the second one out, brings up a third one, takes it up north, brings up a fourth one, and takes it up north. So there's really not a lot to look for. This one also develops something out here off the
Florida
out here, yeah, between Bermuda and the Bahamas. We've got something there that forms, but it's a fish storm out to sea. May do a loop-de-loop, but I don't think it's anything to worry about. But notice at the very, very end of this run. Now we're talking, let's see, 11, we're talking 14, 15 days out. So this is total bullcrap. But it's starting to form a second low in the Gulf that moves towards Florida. So something interesting to watch. Anyway, this is the time of year where we really start to look for that genesis. I mean, all it takes, is the right conditions and it starts up. All right, here we go. We're following that one there. And this one doesn't go that far. This is the Euro, and it doesn't really do too much with it. Let's go. And the Euro best performing model last couple of years has not done all that good this year so far. And this
That's
is
a link from Mike's weather page.
Yeah, I'll show you. Give me just 1 second. I'll show you where I get this stuff. Yeah, and again, this one's not really showing much happening. The storm doesn't really make Genesis. It just kind of washes out. And the second one there moves north. And once they start moving north, it's done. Okay, yeah, when you're on Mike's weather page, right up here in the top left corner, these are your models right here. And then when you click on the model, you use your left and right arrow buttons to move forward and backwards in time. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, I love it. I use this shit every day, man. I love it. All right. Yeah, that's Mike's weather page. He does updates and stuff on there, and he's a great guy. I spoke to him one time a long time ago, when I was doing some hurricane stuff and everything, when I was doing my paranormal show. Anyway, yeah, he doesn't have much in here yet because, like I said, they're not even really issuing much on this. We're pretty early in the process here. All right, anything on the hurricane stuff? All right, let's take a quick peek at the storm here. Looks like it's starting to wane out just a little bit.
Yeah, it's been quiet here.
It's raining here.
It's raining.
Yeah, extreme South Cape is still getting some rain, and it's starting to get offshore here. But
You know, the funny thing is it starts to quiet down. I had this happen the other night. I was just ready to hook the antenna up for the 220 net. Boom! Comes a stroke of lightning. So I did the 220 net on the handheld.
There you go. Luckily, the 220, man, I've got a little 5-watt Bofang for my 220. That's all I have.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
that
nice.
thing, I can sit in my house with that thing, and it's crystal clear.
Oh yeah.
That 220 band is a great band. It's like the good parts of 440 and the good parts of 2 meter all rolled into one radio. It's really kind of neat. I do like that band. It seems to get out with ease. Now, I haven't done any testing with it inside buildings or any of that kind of stuff, but just in my house, about 5 miles away from the repeater, it does really, really good.
I sure wish there were more available equipment, but that's the way it goes.
Well, I like when they had it simulcasting. I really wish we did more simulcasting around here. I'd love to have a UHF VHF pair like they've got up in Charlotte County. The Sunshine Net, the WX4E is it's a simulcast on both UHF and VHF and Echolink. Actually,
we've got that. The 220 repeater is part of a net of several others, and one of those is on 443.8. So if you haven't noticed, that's Brian Darley's repeater, but he's got that set up downtown. And it's tied in with them too. So if you want to listen to 220 and 440 at the same time, you have at it. They got it. And they're working on the internet for 147 225. Yeah, they got to get the internet hooked up on that. Should be done within the next week or two. And then that one will be in there. So they got a whole bunch of them hooked up.
I don't know why they got these guys in a holding pattern out here. Hey, what's up? Come on in, say hi to everybody. Hold on, guys. And this is my this is my grandchild Noah. Can you guys see him back here? They're on this camera right here,
so we can see him.
What up?
There he is, right there. Yeah, we watched your video. I opened with it tonight. That's my new opener now. I'm just gonna open with that.
Yeah, I saw after getting you showed it.
Yes, it's awesome.
We can't hear him. He's too far from the microphone.
Here, say what you said again. They can't hear you.
So I wanted to make a little intro for you guys to put at the beginning of your live streams.
You're hired.
You're hired.
He said you're hired. All right. Don't expect a lot of money, but you're hired.
Yeah, we don't pay much.
All right.
All right.
Beautiful.
Well, thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you very much. We're going to keep using that too, because it's better than anything I've made. So, but there you go. All right. Well, there you go, guys. That's my grandchild, Noah. He is 12 and he goes to school over in Cape Coral. Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. And guys, so all right, we did Tropics. We did we've gone through just about everything here. We're down to I want to get back to the let's see, get back to here again. Let's see. He did a great job on that. He really did.
Yeah, he did a terrific job.
Yeah. So
I mean, that's
let's
professionally done, I think.
yeah, it was pretty nice. It's very nice, actually. All right, let's do this. This is the spaceweather.com website. And we had some activity on the sun here just a few hours ago. And they're now forecasting a possible partial halo CME. What they mean by a halo CME is it was directed at us. So when we look at the sun, it looks like a halo. It looks like it's literally moving away from the sun in every direction because it's aiming at us. And there you can see there in this photograph, we had a strong solar flare earlier today. The sun is crackling with M-class solar flares. 2 sunspots are contributing at this time, and the strongest flare so far has registered an M7 and caused a shortwave radio blackout over much of Europe and Africa. So there you go. The sun is very active. Look at all those sunspots. I'm kind of surprised sometimes that the solar flux is as low as it is. It is starting to come up. We're starting to see the solar flux ever so softly move up. But it just seems like it's taken way too long for that to happen. So let's switch back over to here now. This is the current graph. And you can see here that NASA's forecast had it staying pretty flat, but we've gotten this sudden rise because of this recent activity. So we're getting a little solar flux bonus, if you will, right now. We should be down around about 90, 95 or something right now, but instead we're up here at almost 120. So that's pretty good. The geomagnetic field was quiet this morning. Let me see if I look currently here and get a quickie just to make sure that we're not dealing with anything crazy. There it is.
Kind of went down in volume there.
Yeah, because I moved away from the mic. The solar flux is 119. And our K index has gone from a 1 or 0 up to 2 now. So the geomagnetic field is still pretty quiet. If it was up to 3, it would be unsettled. So 2 is quiet. That's pretty good for radio. Remember, we want a high solar flux with a quiet geomagnetic field. That's the best setup for HF. So that would be nice. Right now, 30 and 20 are open. And 80 and 40 will be open overnight, it says. So there we go. That's what we got. And yeah, 119 on the solar flux. And I think it's going to go up some more. I think we could see it up around 130 by tomorrow, I hope, because of all this latest activity. So we'll just have to see what happens on that. Let's see. The next thing I had on here was our terrestrial weather. We've got some things that have come together right now, and they're bringing us a much wetter than normal rain pattern. If you notice these spikes down here, they're showing actually accumulated rainfall each day. So they're talking a 60% chance of rain pretty much every day next week. But the winds are going to stay pretty low unless you're right in front of one of these big storms. And then, of course, you'll get the occasional wind gust. We had some wind gusts come through here yesterday. I'm going to go back and pull them off the camera. We took a couple of really good wind gusts here, and I want to pull it off the camera and show you guys. And so I'm going to do that tomorrow when I have a chance. Here's your funny boners. The one on the left there would be what it would look like in front of my house right after I win the Powerball.
Hey,
That would be the ham radio or whoever, whichever shop I buy it from, delivering all my new toys. And in the middle there, I love that. Have you tried chewing on the cables yet? Because that sometimes works. And over on the right there, that shows you what it looks like behind my console. There's something unplugged. Go find it.
He does tomato sauce and meatballs.
Yeah, that's spaghetti. That's yeah. This wiring diagram brought to you by Chef Boyardee and Ragu. All right, there's your DX stuff is all in here. You guys can check that out. Swap Shop this weekend. It's tomorrow. Yeah, that's the Swap Shop. That's my freebie I give the FMARC every week because I really like Joe and the Swap Shop. I think they're
go there.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get by there tomorrow. I haven't been there in months, but I'm going to try to go by there. Joe's a good friend, and it's a great place out there. And they've been cleaning it up out there. I used to call it my favorite Cambodian TV repair shop. But it's actually, they got it. There's a lot of really good stuff out there. You just got to look for it, man. It's all hidden gems. So I like it out there. It's great. Check that out.
The only problem is they don't even have a fire hydrant for dogs. You know, it's pathetic.
What are you talking about?
Man, if you drink too much water, you're going to have to go up the street to go pee.
No, there's just find a tree somewhere.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. So anyway, there's all your ham fests. Yeah, I even used a stock picture from the ham fest up there. But anyway, here's your ham fests. And the next one is coming up. Not until 9/3. Yeah.
LB's too far fest.
Don't know anything about it. It's in Dade County, which generally means I'm not attending.
Yeah.
I don't go to Miami for nothing, dude.
That's not
The only thing getting me to Miami is a warrant or a subpoena.
Yeah, that's not Miami though. That's Dade
Or a
City.
helicopter.
Yeah.
You got to go to the big hospital down there
Dade
in a
City's
helicopter.
Florida.
Oh, wait a minute. That's Dade City. You're right. Dade City's up north of Tampa. You're right.
that's not really
Actually, Dade City's a great little town. My grandma used to live between Bushnell and Dade City up there
that's
on
nice
50.
area up in there.
Yeah. So there you go. Okay. That's my bad. I would go to that one because I like that. That's a nice ride up there too. I would go right up the middle of the state, take 17, take a nice little ride up there through Belglade, or not Belglade, but through Bowling Green, and then up through all the way. And you end up near Lakeland. Yeah, if you keep going that way. All right. Anyway, I like to stay off the interstates. When my wife and I travel, we generally don't take the interstate unless we're on a time. We like to drive on the back roads. Anyway, there was an amateur radio documentary made, and it was submitted at the California Amateur Film Fest out there, and it actually got some awards. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm thinking about going and finding it. The U.S. Emergency Broadcast Network is deemed vulnerable to hackers. Well, there you go. So the Russians can come on and hack into our system and tell us something that's going to happen. It's not really going to happen. I don't know how they're going to. I don't know how anybody would capitalize off of that, but that's a little scary. I don't know what's more scary. The fact that hackers could now hack into our system, or the fact that the government told us that hackers could now hack into our system.
Yeah,
The
something
government
really
may do
suspicious.
it. You don't ever know.
Something suspicious is that ever since the war started with Ukraine, we haven't had any attacks, have we?
No, they're busy.
They're busy.
Yeah, they're putting a gun in anybody that can walk's hands. On both sides of that war, unfortunately. Let's see here. There's a special event station for 9/11. All that information's in here. And this is some big ass antenna they made in some corn maze. It sounds kind of cool. Here's the information on the 170. It's in here with the map and all that. And then here's all those links I told you about. And then I've got a list in here of I do this every week, so you guys can check it out. This is all the special event stations going on this weekend. And then in here, I've included this before. This is nothing that's brand new, but there's an expanded list of frequencies that are outside the amateur radio band, and it's something good to have. We're coming in the hurricane season. These are all frequencies that you could try to see if you could listen to something on. And so I've got them all in here. You can check that out. Oh, and Rick,
Yes.
this weekend is huge when it comes to contesting. There's a lot going on. There's no like really big one going on, but there's like 50 little ones going on.
Really?
Yeah. Well, first of all, there's the ARRL EME, which for those of you who don't know is Earth, Moon, Earth. That's, or as we call it, moon bounce. And that is there's a contest for moon bounce. I think I'm going to sit this one out because I don't have the equipment yet for moon bounce. Yeah, so
I'd have to build a huge yard rake to be able to do that.
yeah, it is on my list of things to do. You know, there's some things in amateur radio that I'm just not really all that interested in, like learning CW. But there's a lot of things that I do want to eventually accomplish, and moon bounce is one of them. But anyway, there's a moon bounce contest, CW, phone, and digital. I'd like to do me some moon FT8. But anyway, and then we got the Hawaii QSO party. And there's also, I'll loop them together here. There's also the Kansas QSO party and the Ohio QSO party.
Yeah.
So there's 3 states doing their QSO parties this weekend. And then there's also the ALARA contest. I'm not familiar with that, but it's centered over in Australia and Zealand. And what I find is a lot of people like to know about these contests on the other side of the world, because it's a great way if you're trying to get a contact on it over on the other side of the world. It may be a great opportunity to get that rare place that you've been trying to get. Just follow their rules and you get the contact.
Yeah, the conditions are pretty good. I contacted Belgium this afternoon on CW during the what do you call it? The slow speed test. So
There you go.
with 5 watts, on top of that.
Wow. That's
Thanks for
amazing.
hex beams.
Hex beams, man. That's where it's at. There's hex beams, and then there's all them other antennas.
That's right.
All right. If we're talking 10 through 20, they get a little weird. They get too big over 20, and I've read something that they get a little weird under 10. But the truth is between 10 and 20, they're just optimum.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Okay, we've got the Yo DXHF contest. Yo, I think when you call CQ, you just go, yo.
Oh,
Oh,
yo, Adrian.
No.
Yo.
What you do?
Yeah,
No,
you probably get people upset saying
No,
that.
you go on there. You got to go on there and be like, "Yo, what's going on, CQDX?"
yo, statewide.
Like, wow.
I'm feeling statewide. All right. And then we got the PRGCQ Pride contest.
Huh?
Is that ham radio Pride? Or
yeah.
it's cool. Whatever you are, as long as you're proud. And then you got West Virginia Island QSO party. What is that? WVE Island. What is that? It's not West Virginia Island. I don't know why I said that.
United States and Canada.
Yeah.
Okay. I see. Okay. It's going by the first letter of the call sign.
Hindsight.
We're if you guys don't know this, I learned this not long ago, and I'll admit it. If someone puts like W's only, what they mean is US only.
Yeah.
Anybody, you have to have a W, a K, or an AA or whatever. It has to be a US call sign. Or what's the other one? N, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Um,
Yes. Yeah.
Worldwide Digi DX. There's one for you. FT4, FT8. That's one I'll get involved with there now. All right, and then let's see here. And then I told you about the 2 QSO parties, and then we got the CVA DX contest. Okay, and that's all of them. But there's actually more, but they're shorter. The ones that are like 2-hour sprints and stuff, I don't list on here. I only list the ones that are more than 8 hours that are like actual working contests. And that's pretty much it. This repeater system, note the system is down until further notice. All the individual repeaters, I think, still work. It's just they're having some connectivity issues, but I think all that will be resolved soon. I know they're working on it.
And they're working on it.
And
The
I
three
think
of those are still linked.
Yeah. The only
So
one
it's-
that's not linked is 147.225.
Right.
okay.
Everything else is all linked together.
Well, that explains why I
444.8.
the last 3 times I tried to get on the 220 net, I never heard anything. One time I even called out on there, but I'm always using the 225 because I'm in my car coming back from work.
Yeah.
Net
So-
control didn't show up for 2 weeks in a row also.
Oh,
Yeah. What happened?
well, I've
there?
already done that once too, so I'm not going to say much about that right now. But you know, emergencies happen, but 2 weeks in a row, come on. All right. Yeah. So anyway, there's that. And for you guys in the back of our TechNet, the newsletter here, I've got a complete list of all of our local nets for 5 counties, and they're always there. You guys,
Did you happen to get the late email I sent to you this afternoon?
I don't believe so.
Because
What was it
that'll
about?
update that a little bit.
Yeah, I know. You go ahead and tell us about that. They've reworked the digital nets here in town a little bit. If you want to tell us about that, because I don't have any digital equipment. So
Sure, it's real easy to remember. All on Thursdays. The first and second Thursday of the month will be the D-Star net. And the second and fourth will be the DMR net.
what
which
about the 5th?
there happens to be a fifth one, and since they alternate, it
And
looks like
everybody takes a fifth.
There you go.
right.
Or they
It looks
drink
like
a fifth.
D-Star won that argument.
Yeah. So anyway, there you go. So you can test your different equipment out, and then there's also the Fusion net
Wednesdays.
on Wednesday nights, and that's a great net.
Oh,
Yeah, he does a great job with that net. He does jokes and all that good stuff that some people don't like us to do on the radio, having fun and things. But yeah, so that's a good net too. So check all that out. I try to get I tell you, every week I try to do the windmill net, I try to do the Gab Fest, I try to do the Cape Coral Gab Fest, the Sanibel net, which is the loggerhead net,
yeah.
and I try to do the newbie net, and I try to do the 220 net. I mean, I try to do the nets. I do like it. I do like doing the nets.
Cars has a new DMR net too on Brandmeister.
Oh wow, there you go.
That info's in the email also.
And if you guys, if you're ever up in the morning and you want to do a net, a great net is the Sunshine Net. It's really, it's up in Charlotte County, but they got a great tower. They got VHF and UHF and WinLink, and it's all linked. So you can get on one of those 3 methods.
You can get on
And-
Echolink too.
Echolink. I said WinLink. I meant Echolink. That's I do that sometimes. I transpose those two. It's late night dyslexia. But anyway, yeah, well, it's getting to the point where it's all the time now. But yeah, anyway, so there you go. That's that. There's just so many great nets out there that you can get involved with, and we try to keep these frequencies alive. And I hope that Joseph starts his CB net up and gets it on WinLink, because I would like the breaker 19 on that one if I can.
Well, I can tell you when we get our repeater online, it's going to have every kind of linking that you can do. It's going to have Broadcastify direct from the repeater. It's going to have All-Star, Echo Link. We're even going to try and get some other digital modes like DMR and D-Star, whatever we can do. We want to get everything we possibly can on there.
I've always wondered why people, the digital folks, are always so opposed to linking their digital stuff to analog stuff. I proposed a while back, what if we set up a system like at my house or something where we could do the DMR net and the D-Star net at the same time? Why can't we do all 3 digital modes at the same time? Why can't we analog link the Fusion net once a month so people can take part in it and see what it's like, and maybe get them to want to buy a Fusion radio because they're pretty cool.
I I don't know.
Do you see what I'm saying? I mean, I'm trying to think of ways to get people interested because I lost interest. I got DMR, and
Turned out to be
a month of programming is not worth one QSO and then boxing it up and sending it home. But I just, it's worthless to me. But the Fusion's pretty cool. I borrowed a Fusion radio for a few weeks and got on the Thursday night net, and it was a lot of fun. And Fusion sounds a lot better than DMR.
Oh, DMR sounds just
DMR is horrible. I
horrible.
can't
It is-
understand it. It's like I can't understand it. I don't. Ugh.
It's much less tolerant of somebody being short range or short power or something.
Right.
And you also have, you're dealing with a lot more links. And
Right.
when you got that many links, people don't push to talk for long enough to get the whole message out. So it comes out as
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, DMR is cool. I think I've heard D-Star. I've never used it. And I used Fusion for
D-Star-
a short time. And I'll
D-Star-
tell you,
I've
Go
used
ahead.
D-Star. I've used D-Star a little bit, and it does sound better than DMR. It definitely sounds better than DMR, but still kind of just meh.
yeah, I'm not,
I use both every day, man. But sometimes I end up going with a link back over to Fusion from
What?
DMR.
I imagine if you got used to it, you would be able to understand it better. But like if someone just holds a DMR radio up and says, listen to this, I'm like, what am I listening to? It just sounds so grainy.
yeah,
Like,
I thought it would be cool to, link up some stuff, that we've got all these dead channels everywhere. We got dead frequencies, dead bands, dead birds, everything. And I'm like, we could find ways to make it active again by including more people.
Hey, speaking of active, the chat and YouTube has been really active. We got 12 people watching right now. The stream is
Awesome.
doing really well right now, actually.
Awesome. Thank you.
And we got more
everybody that's-
topics too.
Yeah,
We
that's
got a
out
few
there
more
on the everybody that's out there on YouTube. Thank you for watching. My name's Ian. My call sign's KO4EFS, and Joseph, who was just speaking, his call sign KM4OVZ. If you're not an amateur radio operator, we would love to assist you to become one. It's a lot easier than you think, and then it's even easier than you thought again. It's the government, like they normally do, has made it pretty darn easy to get in here and do this. So there's never been a better time. If you are a ham radio operator, we are here every Friday night. We start at 8 o'clock Eastern time, and we normally take about 3 hours, and we talk about everything ham radio and some other things too. We try to tread lightly on politics and religion, but we mostly always talk about technology. So thank you for being here. If you guys could do us a favor out on YouTube, we're trying to beat the algorithms right now. If you guys could all give us a subscribe, a like, and maybe leave us a comment on the video, that would be great. I'd really appreciate that because it really helps us out a lot on the algorithms. All right. Joseph, what was the next topic we had? Refresh me.
We had, well, there was my radio review.
Oh, yeah. Why don't we do that? You ready for that? Let's do that.
Yeah, I'm ready for that. I've been programming it here. That's what those little noises and tones have been for the past couple of minutes. So at Hamfest, so in our tech team patch, the little circle, that little patch that we have in there is actually has some little clip art in it. I'm gonna bring it up here. And that clip art is taken from online somewhere, but the little handheld that is in it, here we go. I have it right here. All right. So see the little radio in there?
Mhm.
And that little radio is actually a Motorola XPR 7550E or 7550. They both look the same. And ever since I saw that little clip art thing, I was like, man, that's a really cool looking radio. All the handhelds and everything, they all look different. And I liked some designs more than others. But that specific design right there, I've always really liked. And I found out what kind of radio it was. And I was like, man, I want to get one of these. Well, it's a Motorola, so it's a commercial radio, not designed for amateur radio. And It's pretty expensive. I'm not going to lie about that, but it's a DMR and analog dual mode radio. It's mono band, so you can get it in either UHF or VHF models. And I think you can get an 800 megahertz model as well. But at Hamfest, I found somebody selling one. And so now I have the radio from the patch. You can see it looks just like it. It's the actual radio from our patch. And since it's a commercial radio, our little thing here is going to be kind of like a little mini review, and we're going to talk about some of the challenges and things you have to deal with when using a commercial radio, specifically Motorola, for amateur radio. So this radio is 5 watts output, just like you would normally expect, but the actual hardware inside, so because it's commercial, they designed it just really to be reliable and work all the time and be able to withstand anything, and it's just really, really robust. And the receiver,
and it'll just keep right on going.
Yep, exactly. So this thing, I've tested the performance. I've only had the programming cable for this afternoon. I got the cable today in the mail, but I programmed in some frequencies in, and I know generally how the performance is around the repeaters here in my neighborhood. And this is my normal radio, which is a Yaesu FD65R. And just comparing the performance between the 65R and the Motorola definitely will outperform the 65R, even it just receiving. It has some kind of like noise cancellation or something going on so like if you have a signal, it's either really, really good or like completely drops out. So you have, even when your signal is weak, it does some kind of filtering to the static to make it less of a problem. And you can actually hear voices like extremely well, even in high noise areas. So that's really, really cool. So the actual RF hardware in here is amazing. But that does come with some challenges. So because it's not amateur radio, you can only buy it commercially. And the way you're supposed to acquire one of these and program it for ham radio and all that is to buy it from a dealer. They run for about $1,300 for a new one for retail price. And it has like a whole bunch of features built in that you have to pay for separately. So, you've seen all those, like, you buy a car and the seat warmer doesn't turn on unless you pay a subscription. It's kind of like that. It's not a subscription. It has the hardware capability to do a lot of things, but a lot of those features are disabled from the factory. So you kind of have to hack it. And I'm not going to go into detail how I acquired the software for that, but you can get the software and actually open up all those settings, and you can get the programming software, which is easier to get. And that lets you program in all the channels. And it's not like Chirp. You have to be kind of careful with it if you're using the hacked version, because the firmware, there's an update for the firmware that pretty much makes it a lot harder to use for amateur radio, makes it a lot harder to hack, so to speak. So you have to keep it in the right firmware version. And if you plug it into the wrong software at the wrong time and you have an internet connection, it'll like auto update and it'll just ruin your day. So you have to be really careful with the software. There's people out there who know how to do it, and you can find information online. There's actually a couple of forums that I found information from that you can actually get for this radio and for programming and things like that. So I have the software, I have the radio and the cable, and this radio is really, really fascinating. You can do a lot of things that you can't do on an amateur radio. So you have all kind of settings. You can reprogram all the option buttons on here to do literally whatever you want. I mean, I programmed a button on here to open the squelch. So I could open the squelch just like normal. But my favorite aspect of this is the zones and the number of channels you can store. So you can store 1,000 channels in this, and a lot of handhelds now will have 1,000 channels, but my Yaesu only has 250 channels. So I was running out of channels. I wanted to program a lot more in, but I ran out pretty quickly. So with this, I can program in like just way, way more. And man, it is really nice. It's going to take me forever to fill up these memories, but I'm just really, really happy with it. I'm kind of all over the place with this review, I guess, but I mean, I got it. So it has a screen that illuminates. I can show that there on the camera, but I programmed in some repeaters here. You can see me flipping through the frequencies there. And then if I go to, oh yeah, that's the other thing. So I'm kind of silly in that I love little beeps and noises from radios, and Motorola has this little noise. I don't know if Zoom will pick it up here, but if I key up here, I don't know if you can hear this. Is that a little noise?
That's the one that's on the MD380.
Yeah, exactly. So it lets you make the little talk permit tone even when you're in analog mode, which is hilarious, and I love it.
I believe Motorola actually calls that the clear transmit tone.
Yeah, they call it the talk permit tone, actually.
Yeah.
And you know what else it can do? I found this is another thing that I got excited after I bought it. I actually didn't know it could do this, but I have my other radio here, and I'm gonna key up and hold the radio near the mic, and you're gonna hear what it does.
All right, this is KM4 OVZ testing.
Yeah.
It makes the little police radio chirp noise. It's called MDC 1200 is the name of the.
You need to take that to the Huntsville Hamfest next year. That'll get them excited.
I need to go on like the East Coast Reflector with that noise, or the SARnet or something. Oh my gosh, they would lose their minds.
That sounds like when we used to have the old tone repeaters. That
tone
little
burst
tone,
thing?
yeah, that little tone burst would open the repeater and then the tone burst would close it. That was an old system that didn't work well though. But yeah.
That's a well-known sound. You can
Yeah.
you can program it into the 878 as your squelch tail.
It also reminds me of when I was with the county and we went 800. All the 800 radios made those two sounds too.
Mhm. So what that little noise is it's a Motorola proprietary system. It's kind of like APRS. It sends out a data burst with usually like a 6 or 7 character string of letters or numbers. And that's how you identify who's talking. So if you have a police car that's out in the field and it keys up, you can make it say car 25 or whatever, you know. So that's what it's used for. But here on the ham radio, I just have it set to like 0001. And so whenever you unkey, it makes the noise. It's so funny. So I'm totally just super happy with it because like part of my fun with radio is just like the gadgets and just like, you know, there's the talking part and you also have the actual equipment, which is half the fun. So this thing is like a really fun toy. And when you combine amazing performance with tons of memory channels, a color screen, really nice feel in your hand. Apparently the power output is really good. It's 5 watts, but it's apparently really clean and just all around a great signal that it puts out. Oh yeah, the audio too. So the audio on this is really superior compared to a lot of handhelds. It will pick up your voice when you're further away from the radio, which has always been a big complaint of mine with the 65 is you have to have it literally right on your face to get a good signal. And if you hold it down here, you know, it doesn't pick up your voice as well, but this one actually picks up your voice a lot better. It has automatic leveling of the microphone. So like automatic gain control of the microphone. So if you get further away, it compensates by bringing the gain up. It's crazy. I mean, it has all kind of stuff like that. So I'm just really happy with it and really excited to use it. And I paid at Hamfest, I paid $550 for it, which is just, I mean, so they always say when you go to Hamfest, you're going to make poor financial decisions. But I mean, they had the radio there and I'm just not going to have to, I'm going to have to refrain from buying anything for a while after I've purchased this.
That's a brand new FTM 400 from Yaesu for that much, man.
Yeah, you can get a lot of stuff for that price. And I got a handheld of all things. But the other thing is I carry my handheld with me every single day, all day. It sits on my belt and I always have it. If I leave the house, I don't leave the house without it. So it's not quite as bad as if I never used the handheld or only used it here and there. I literally always have the handheld on me. So, you know, I'll get to enjoy this plenty. But I programmed in some of the repeaters and I stood out in the backyard with it and was talking to some of the locals and they said I sounded really good. And what else did I do? Oh, I put all the weather channels in here. It has a scan mode, but the scan is sort of like dual watch where it'll park on a frequency, whatever frequency you choose, you can park on, but it'll also scan everything else in the background. Oh yeah, so I put in all the weather channels. Now I've got all the weather. I don't have a good signal in here. I can get it. There it goes. So it works really well. I mean, the receiver just does so well in high noise environments and like indoors in a house and everything. Like I had it sitting on the kitchen table and the repeater would come on, and it had like a more or less full quieting signal. I mean, if I had the other handheld sitting right next to it in the exact same spot, it probably would have done okay as well. But already, and I haven't used it much, and I can already tell that the performance is better than a normal handheld.
Good
So
night,
that's really
Dallas.
exciting. Oh, Dallas is going.
Yeah.
Dallas is heading out. Good night, Dallas.
All right, Dallas.
See you, Dallas.
Well, next week.
Well, that's cool.
What else do we have? Oh, we
I'll
also
tell you
have
guys-
Bluetooth too.
Oh, that's cool. I'll tell you guys,
GPS.
I'm a fan of Motorola equipment. Being at 20 years of public safety, I used nothing but Motorola equipment for years. And I love this stuff. It's some of the best sounding radios you'll ever find. And you'll also find if it says 100 watts, it puts out 100 or more watts. There's no Chinese conversion.
Yeah, no Chinese conversion. If it puts out 5 watts, it probably puts out exactly 5.0 watts because they calibrate it at the factory.
You'll never hear a clearer audio. As a matter of fact, I have 4 speakers up here, and they're all Motorola speakers because even though they're not hooked to Motorola radios, just the fact that the speakers are Motorola makes it sound a lot better. They're big cone speakers. They sound really good. So really good stuff. Motorola, you pay for Motorola, but it's really good stuff. We used to have radios that were 3, 4, 5 years old at the fire station. They'd been in 25, 30 fires. We go into the fire with the radio, and it's soaked. It's in water. It's fire heat. It's in a pocket that's near the outside of our gear. And they worked for years. So Motorola, just great stuff. I wish I could afford
Combat
it.
conditions.
Yeah. And just to show you guys real quick, when I was a firefighter, I bought my own radio. I bought one of these. It's called a Ameritrack. And
Wow.
this was my favorite radio in the whole world. And how it worked was the Ameritrack. Here's the system. It had a rat pack that went in the trunk. And these things we would actually mount these to the trunk, and they actually had a key. And when you slid on the track, it would lock on there, and you could turn the key, and nobody could steal your radio out of your car. These things. Well, you know why? I paid $1,800 for this thing.
Oh, wow.
I made payments for years on this thing. I made a car payment and a radio payment. Yeah, it sucked ass, but I did it. Yeah, these were the 2 powers for the head. You send the power. One was ignition and one was hot, and then the thing back here went straight to the battery. It had an 8-gauge cable with 2 big, huge fuses, one for positive and one for negative. I love Motorola mics. Still to this day, they make the best mic. And if you've got it in your hand when you're assaulted, you can beat someone to death with it. But in the speakers, they've got the best speakers. So there's my ad for Motorola. Does anybody have anything else? I still have this head back here. I still have it in my box of like collectible stuff. I got a couple boxes of just collectible odds and ends, and I still have my power head. All the buttons, see where it says mode and volume? All that's worn off because I used it for so many years. And I think it finally quit or whatever. I took it out of a car or something. And now all I have is the head. I don't know what happened to the rest of it. But anyway, I loved that radio.
Well, Motorola definitely, I mean, this is my first experience with it, but I'm really impressed so far.
I
I
can tell
actually
you.
got, they also gave me the speaker mic for this radio with my purchase, which is a $50 microphone. So, you know, I paid $550 for it, and 50 of that was for the mic. And I have to say, I've used several different ham radio handy talkies, the little extensions that you put on your shoulder. And they've even like the nicer ones for Yaesu still felt really, really cheap and flimsy. But I can tell you this Motorola thing just is like, it blows my mind how like it feels really solid. And the clicky of the button click is really nice. That is another thing. I love the click on this radio, the the click of the button is my favorite kind. On the Yaesu,
Yeah.
it's a weird, like, it's like this rubber
It's
thing
probably
that you have to
mushy. Yeah.
it is mushy. You have to squish
And
it
on,
in,
a,
and
and on a Motorola or, something like that, you're going to get a very definite click.
yeah, you get it's a very easy click, a very solid click. And the same thing with the little hand mic here. It's a great click. So I'm just really happy with everything here. Just the quality is amazing. And even, the other option, if you want to spend 550, you can, you want to spend money on a handheld, you can get nicer handhelds. But even like the most expensive handheld has like a tiny little speaker on it. There's all these drawbacks with getting the really expensive ones because they have like tiny little speakers or big displays, but they lack in something else that's very important.
Well, I'm almost over the miniaturization at this point. The Baofeng, the UV82, which is kind of like the UV5R that looks like a Motorola. Here, I got one right here. I can show you. That's the UV82. Probably my favorite Baofeng radio. And it's a great little radio, and it's got a decent sized speaker, but you'll never get the sound quality out of this that you get out of that Motorola. You'll never get it. It just doesn't happen. And even if you pipe the sound out of this using a cable like I do, and you do the same thing with that Motorola, you would notice a sound quality difference. It's just amazing. I don't know. There's a lot to be said. I mean, you can buy almost anything and talk on a two-way radio, but there's something to be said for quality equipment.
Yeah. I went up to Lambie Fest week before last.
Yeah.
And he didn't have any Motorola, but he had some of these GE speakers.
Yeah, those are just about as good, probably, or
I
as good.
bought this one for $15, and I hooked it up to my Elecraft K2. I get better sound out of that K2 with this than I did the original speaker. And it's a 4-ohm speaker. I intended to use it with my ICOM in the car, but I think I'm gonna keep this inside and use it with the K2. It does just does perfect. So next time I go to see Tom Lambie, I think I'll buy some more of these, or if he's got Motorola, I'll get some of those.
Yep. I'll tell you, good speakers are important. Good headphones are important. I got on these cheap ones right here. I'll be honest. I got a $150 pair of Sony studio headphones at work.
Yeah.
And when we have a contest weekend, I bring my Sony headphones home from
That
work.
makes a difference.
And it makes a difference. I plug them right into the front of my my 756 Pro, and you can hear SSB a lot better with good headphones or with a good speaker. The first time, a couple times I did SSB, I did it using the console speaker that's built into the radio. And I was just like, I can't understand these people. I can't understand them. And the first time I put a pair of good Sony headphones on and plugged into that radio and put the filtering, got the filtering set right, I was very happy with I was able to hear what they were saying. It was amazing. So, external, better speakers, bigger speakers. The size of the cone on the speaker is so important. And they make these little micro speakers, and you're never going to get anything but shit sound out of some little micro speaker. You're just not ever going to get good sound out of it. I don't care what you do.
Like this.
Right. Because you can drive as much bass into it as you want, but it can't make those frequencies.
No.
That's the bottom line. And that's why it sounds like this, because it can't make the lower frequencies. It can't make the full spectrum of the voice. And so
but these Land Mobile radio speakers, I think, are a better deal than going out and buying some of these speakers from these hand manufacturers.
Right.
You go over here to Lambie and pick something like I said, I got that GE speaker for $15. You go to a Kenwood or ICOM or Yaesu or any of those to get a speaker, you're going to pay $70, $100 for it. And it won't be as good as this.
You may find radio speakers out at the swap shop.
Yeah.
I bought 2 or 3 from out of there, but there was still some left. I found some others out there. There was ones that looked just like that one you got out there. There was a couple more. There was one more of the white Motorola ones that I know was out there.
Yeah, I'm going to be over there tomorrow, so I'll look for them.
Yeah, see if you can. I mean, there's probably some good ones. And the neat thing about the Motorola and even the GE stuff is it's good equipment. So even if it's 30 years old, you'll still get a good, robust sound out of it, right? Yeah, absolutely. All right. Anybody else have anything on that stuff? Joseph, anything else on the Motorola radio?
Not that much. I'm just having fun playing with it here, programming it. It's a little bit tricky to program, but it is nice when you install the CPS software. It comes with the cable driver, so you literally just plug it in and it works. That's always nice. If you're getting a cable on eBay, so I was told by the person who I was asking questions about Motorola's, if you're gonna order a cable for these radios, they make a lot of counterfeits, but you can get your radio bricked if you use a counterfeit, because the data stream on these is very important. Because it's Motorola, they have a lot of DRM, and it's kind of the Apple of radios almost, in the way that they want to make sure you're not doing anything
very
suspicious.
proprietary.
Very proprietary. So if you're gonna buy the cable, they have them on eBay for $29, and they're sold by Blue Max 49 ERS is the seller, and it's like one of the first sellers that pops up.
They have their own website, don't they?
Blue Max?
Yeah.
I don't know if they do. I mean,
Let me check my.
And they sell a lot of other cables as well, for different radios and everything. And mine came pretty quick. And the really cool thing, this was really neat. You don't see this often. Included with my purchase of programming cable was this card, which has the seller's phone number and email address on it. And he says, if you have any problems at all, call him and he'll walk you through the process right away. The other thing that was cool, I got this piece of paper. I got this piece of paper here, which has the full, like it even has little graphics from Windows. Like when you plug this radio in, it shows up as a network device. So it's like make sure you see your network device here. And down here, it tells you what to look for in Device Manager, and it has all kind of good information. You can't go wrong when you have this, and you know exactly what you're doing. That was another really neat thing, is that you don't see that often. I mean, Baofangs have that website called Miclore.
Yeah,
that has a lot of really good information. So you do have that for Baofangs, but for a lot of other radios, it's pretty hit and miss for information like that. So I was really, really just impressed that all this info came with the package, and it came with the guarantee of the seller, and offers you his personal number. He's like, here, call me and we'll walk you through it. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
And hey, now I have DMR. So if Ian, if you figure out how to configure your radio and I figure out how to configure mine for DMR, then we could talk to each other. I think most DMR systems are internet connected. So you put in the talk group that you want to be on, and then you're.
Yeah, if I was going to do that, I would put me a note in here too, so I wouldn't have to use the big one.
Yeah, that would probably help.
But then if I'm not here, I can use the big one,
I wonder if we have a DMR repeater near here. I don't think we have one here in Huntsville.
You have a hotspot?
No.
That's what that'd be the thing to do.
Those are apparently very popular.
You can build a hotspot that'll do DMR, Fusion, and D-Star.
Depends on how long you want to wait for it to come.
Yeah. You have to build it.
Well,
man,
you can that there's a store, AliExpress. You can order one in the $60. It's a clone.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, let me ask you a question. What does that use? Like a Pi? Or can I use a Windows computer to do that?
The Pi Star, Raspberry Pi Star is, I would say 1 inch by 2 to 3 inches, and it fits in the little container, and it is the real Raspberry Pi Star. And it is semi-proprietary, but like those chips you can't get right now. They're just not available. And
well, you can't get a Raspberry Pi.
Right. And the clones are out everywhere. So you'd be buying a clone, which to me is not that big of a deal as long as it works, right?
Right. Yeah.
And the AliExpress place does have those, but they're going to come from overseas. So it's going to take you a few weeks to get it. That's all.
I would really like to play with these systems. I'm not really interested in buying 50 different radios, but if I could get them all to where they're linked into my system here, then I want to get to the point. See, all right, I'm going to, nobody's really able to do any of this stuff that I want to do. Even at the EOC, they've got a few radios there and they can talk on them using a little consolette. But when I was in public safety, we had the ability to patch any channels together we wanted to at will. I could patch in, North Operations 1 with Aviation 3, and then patch that in with citywide operations, and everybody's talking on the same channels. And I would love to be able to have the ability to, if we were going to have a net or there's some kind of thing going on, I would love to be able to patch in a channel. Like if I could set up nodes on Fusion, D-Star, and DMR and set it up to where you could actually go to the node on each of those three systems and get into the repeater here and get it all to where it's working together. I just thought that and it may not all work together. I may only have to do one system, whatever, but that's kind of something I have for in the future is, if we had a Fusion net here that I could hook up and you're out of internet at your house, but you can get to my Fusion node, then now you're connected to Fusion radios all over the world.
That's right.
So it would give us a lot more ability where, people could get to Fusion at different ways. I don't know. There's just a lot of things we can do. And I want to explore all these options for next year. It's a little late this year. We're coming into the heat of hurricane season now. And we're just got to go with what we got. But I eventually want to get to where I have all these abilities to patch channels together here in the shack. And so that when we have an emergency here and something bad's really going on, we've got a bad system coming in or whatever, I would love to be able to patch everybody in so that Joseph can get to his
switchboard.
Basically, yes, that's what we had at every place I've dispatched. That's what we had. We could patch things together. We could even patch phones with radios. We could patch anything together. We could patch simplex channels with repeater channels. We could patch trunk channels with simplex channels, trunks with the old system and the new system. Nobody has that ability. We don't, even our EOC doesn't have that ability to patch radios together. And I can build a radio patch. All you need is two radios and the system to go between them, which you can buy for under $100. And then all you do is set the radios on the two different repeaters that you want to connect together, and boom, you've got a patch. So I've been thinking about building a patch so that I can patch any UHF and VHF repeater to any other VHF or UHF repeater, and then maybe even eventually expand that to where it's one of the radios has 220 capabilities, or one of the radios has 6 meters.
You tried to breach the DMR repeater in Port Charlotte area?
No, I have a DMR radio here. I was going to send it to Joseph. It's just sitting here in a box.
After there, I'll program it for you.
All right. Well, I mean, we can talk about it. I would love to get it programmed. If I was going to send it to Joseph, but if he no longer needs it, then
yeah, send it to Chris.
Yeah, maybe I'll go ahead and get it programmed, because then Joseph and I could use it to talk to each other and stuff. That'd be kind of cool.
What radio is it?
Oh, Christ, I don't know. Walks on or something. I don't know. I'll have to look.
You said it wasn't a brand that we both never heard of before. It was
it was some crazy brand, but I don't know what I did with that box. I've got it in a box back here, but anyway. We'll get it figured out, because I would love to play with it, and if we get it working, it's something we could even do on here, because I know nothing about digital modes and I'd like to kind of learn more. I'm somewhat interested, So yeah, let's do it. Like I said, I'd love to just get it on my computer.
Here's something interesting for you. I think last week I put in the chat the SkyHub link that you published.
Yeah.
The DMR repeater in Port Charlotte is supposedly going to be having that on full time. So you can listen to that even with one of your DMR scanners if you can reach it. But the important point is that the SkyHub link is a good place for you to see what they have set up as far as all of their systems. And it's all in Colorado, but people link it outside of there, and you can see all of the mesh work that they have figured out. So that's one you should take a look at just to see what they can do.
Yeah, I'm trying to find that real quick so I can pull it up again. Oh, here it is. A hose. Yeah.
No, that's Brandmeister.
Yeah.
This one's called skyhublink.com, I think. I can get it for you again real quick. I just put the Blue Max one in for Joseph.
Okay, yeah, SkyHub link, status, repeaters, connections, coverage.
It maps out their whole thing.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. Here, let me I'll put it up so everybody can see the map. I just pulled up the little map. It's pretty cool. Looks like a bad rash.
They have
purple measles in Colorado.
weather nets every day, I think.
Yeah, that's neat.
That is cool. All kidding aside.
Yeah, they've got that's the website. Yeah, and I thought you were talking about this one that we looked at the other day. This one's really cool.
Well, that's Brandmeister 91.
Yeah.
And
Right.
It came up a minute ago. Now it's not coming up.
there you go. There's 91. You're already. Just click on that box and you can start hearing.
You already started here Saturday, and I'm getting ready to end my Friday.
He sounds pretty good.
But anyhow,
It's clear.
all right. Well, you have a wonderful weekend, and a good day. And I'll send 73 to you, and it was a pleasure talking to you.
Yep. But anyway, that's how that works.
November 7 with you, Foxtrot Kilo 73, Barry.
You can see what can be done with linking.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is what I'm talking about is the ability through the computer. However, all I would have to do, all I would really have to do, and by the way, that storm is just about faded into the past.
It's just about gone
Yeah,
away.
I figured I'd show you that since it was on the screen. Okay. But yeah, wouldn't that be cool if I had like I know you can make your own room or whatever. Wouldn't it be nice if I had like my own room on the different systems and then we could just patch them in with our system when something's going on, not leave it hooked up, but just have it ready.
What they do is they'll let you have a repeater room, and you can register the repeater as a repeater ID. Everybody has to have a DMR ID.
Right. I have one. Yeah.
And they use the repeater's DMR ID as the room number for that's what Cars is doing. So, but
yeah, I want to get in. I want to get into that, but it's so, oh man. Oh, dude. Yeah, but I do want to get into that. I just think it'd be really cool to be able to patch all that stuff together so that people could participate with us no matter what. But, because here's the thing, if the internet goes out, like let's say we have a hurricane, let's say we have a bad storm system. I don't know how was any of you guys here for the storm of the century?
which
No.
Andrew?
Well, it was a storm, it was a spring storm, and they called it the storm of the century. It wasn't a
You're talking about
hurricane.
the 93 snowstorm.
Oh, that was the one that came after Andrew.
Yeah. That one, that storm there did a lot more damage to our area than Andrew did. That storm came. I was working as a deputy down at the beach, Fort Myers Beach, on special assignment, and I was driving a cop car around, just transporting people to jail and running calls. And I was auxiliary. I was just helping out, and I was a sworn deputy. I was a regular deputy, but I was part time. And the craziest thing that night, I'm sitting there, and the substation, I don't think they have it down there anymore, but for years, the substation was like a portable substation down there. I don't know if anybody remembers that, the one at Lynn Hall Park there, right when you go over the bridge. Well, I saw them packing the substation up and taking it away. And I called the sergeant. I said, do you know that they're taking the substation? And he says, yeah, there's going to be a really bad storm tonight. I'm like, oh, okay. All right. Well, let's see what's going to happen. So a little while later, I'm in a 7-Eleven getting a drink. And that storm hit with such fervor that it started blowing things out and busting things up. And I barely got back to my car. The people were all back hiding in the bathrooms in the store. It was crazy. And I got back in my car, and I ended up taking refuge in front of the Lonnie Kai, because in front of the Lonnie Kai, it's raised up quite a bit right there where you drop people off. And we were able to park the 2 patrol cars there, as me and these 2 detectives actually. And we were able to park the patrol cars up on that hump so that they wouldn't get swamped with salt water. And that storm destroyed everything. I ended up wading out. We had people drowning out there. I had to take my gun belt off and go swimming after people. It was a bunch of bullshit. Anyway, it went on for about 2 hours that night. It was very bad. And then we blocked traffic the rest of the night, and it went on till morning. I can remember still being soaking wet and my crotch being soaking wet all night. Anyway, it was just, I never, it's those things. See, when you watch TV, even when you watch Cops, those are the kind of things you don't hear.
Yeah. You should have been in Atlanta for that storm.
Yeah. Sit in that car with salt water between your legs for 10 hours. That's crotch pot cooking. Yeah, that is some bad stuff right there, man. By the time you get home, your balls are done. Anyway, it was nasty. I'm telling you what, that was a bad storm. That's the kind of storm I want to be ready for, because it knocked out internet and telephone and all kinds of stuff to part of town for a while.
That's what we call the snow hurricane in Atlanta.
There you go. And like Charlotte County,
that's the same storm that came up there, and we had a blizzard in March, a damn freaking blizzard.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and lightning like crazy.
Yeah, everybody got this storm. Whether you were in New England or in the Keys, you got this storm, and it was bad. That's why they called it the storm of the century. It was like biblical and stuff. But anyway, this storm ended up being so bad. That would have been the textbook storm for our system to be used on. Also, Charlie, when Charlie came through, there was no internet for a lot of Cape Coral, nor Fort Myers. There was no electricity for Cape Coral, nor Fort Myers for 11, 12 days. For parts of North Fort Myers, 15 days. So you have to, yeah, there was cell service, but it was not, we had cell service. Here's the funny part. We had cell service through the storm. We had cell service through the entire storm. About 6 or 8 hours after the storm, it became harder and harder. And by the next day, we had no cell service at all for 2 or 3 days until it started coming back up spotty again. What happened was the antennas survived the storm, but then the generators ran out of fuel and they couldn't get fuel into the generators. And once they got the fuel into the generators, and they also got the portable trucks here and got them all set up, all of a sudden we're back talking again. But there was a period of time where if I had a ham radio, I could have been getting my neighbors' emails in and out. I could have been communicating with other hams in the county and getting things moved around and passing messages and things like that. So I think about it back then, we could have sure used this back then, because this area I'm in right now was an area that was without just about any services. I can remember my roommate at the time he was yelling at somebody out there, and I walked out there, and on day 9, Red Cross showed up for the very first time in our neighborhood and started giving out hot meals. And my roommate went out there and yelled at him and said, get out of here. We needed you 8 days ago. Oh my God. This is day 9. We've already gone across the state and bought a generator. We bought an air conditioner. We bought a big barbecue grill. we bought an extra tank of propane, and we had bought a bunch of food over in West Palm and brought it back over here. So by then we had everything. But Charlie was bad, and Irma wasn't quite as bad. Irma was one of those storms where it did take out a lot of power, but the cell services pretty much stayed up everywhere. I had spotty cell service for about 1 day, but it was still usable. But our ground internet, our regular internet here, our broadband did not come up for over a week and a half after Irma, and our power came up after 6 days. So after these big storms, and you have to remember one thing: if you live in a really nice neighborhood, you're going to get power first. If you live in a middle-class neighborhood, you're going to get power next. If you live in a poor neighborhood like I do, it could be weeks. I mean, you need to get a generator, you need to get an air conditioner. They literally, and I'm not just saying this, they restore power by class in this area. And you'll find it'll really piss you off when you see that the beach has their power back 7 days before you get yours back. And they were like right on the coast. They've got all their power back on already. After Charlie, we waited 11 days before we got power back, and it still didn't stay on the whole time after that. But we waited 11 days to get our power back. Pine Island had their power back after 5 days. They had power all the way up to the north end of Sanibel in 7 days. We still didn't get power for 11 days. So if you got money, you're going to get your power back sooner. If you don't have a lot of money, then it's going to be a while. So just be prepared for that. People in my neighborhood know it's going to be weeks before we get our services turned back on. They had
interesting thing to point out there is that those very same people are the ones that got their electric bills more than tripled in this area in the last month or so because of the increase from FPL.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I pay a big electric bill. We like our air cold here. My shack uses a shitload of power, and we use I got big lights outside because I do live in a bad neighborhood. Well, I live in a poor neighborhood. I don't want to call it a bad neighborhood, but so we use a lot of power here, a lot of power. And our bill, our worst bill, our August bill last year was $350. We just got our bill for the late July, the later July, early August bill just came in, and it's $575. I don't know what the hell we're going to do. This is crazy, and the whole thing and I'm not going to get political, I promise you guys, but the whole thing about buying an electric car because you can't afford to put gas in your car. I can't afford to put electric in the car either. It's just the prices are going up just faster for electricity, it seems. Gas has come down a little bit. It's still way high, but it's come down a little bit. Guys, I'm $570 something or something for electricity. My wife's going to pull my plug out here.
Yeah, we've had that same problem up here. The bill for our office has doubled in the last year.
That's crazy. I know it seems hotter, a little hotter this year than last year, maybe, but this is crazy. It's just it's outrageous what's going on right now with the electricity bill just flying up like it is. And here's another thing people don't think about. I pump my own water. But your water bills, if you're on city water, they're going up too because they all run on pumps that are running on electric bills. And so they're all going to go up too. So even though I pump my own water and you probably got city water, we're both going to have an increase in our water bills too now because of this. So it goes on and on and on and on. Our cable bill kept going up and up and up, and we finally got rid of cable. Took it out of all of our TVs, got rid of it, got rid of our landline phone that was through cable. It wasn't a real landline phone. And now we just have nothing but broadband internet. And I rotate streaming services. And that's how I'm trying to survive right now. And groceries, my God, I told my wife, we used to go and just fill the grocery cart up, spend a couple $100. And I mean, fill that bitch up, take it home. And now we go there and get like half a cart. It's $350. And I'm like, honey, I don't think this is enough food to get through the week. And then I got to get cat food. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's crazy, right? It is crazy right now. And a lot of people don't even understand what's going on. It's just crazy. Anyway, the good news is, and this is an interesting phenomenon that happens. What'll end up happening is prices of commodities that are important, like food and gas and electricity, those are all going to continue to rise as we get into this really bad cycle right now. But what you're going to find is luxury items, ham radios, for instance. Okay, a ham radio over $100 would be considered a luxury item. It's not something you need. It's something you want. It's a luxury item. It's like anything else. Okay. Those kind of items tend to level off going into a situation like this because they're anxious to sell the stock that they've got, and they're wanting to continue the cash flow because they've got people still working there. They've got things going on. They've got to keep the bills moving, the boxes moving. So what'll end up happening economically is we could actually see a slight fall off in the price of ham radios over the next year. I know right now when I bought these 9800s, I got one $50 off and the other one $30 off because I just kept waiting till the sales came up. So you can really do a deal right now. And I think I have not seen a big, has anyone else out there seen any kind of rise in the cost of ham radio equipment that's anywhere near what we're seeing with the rise of costs of everything else?
Not really.
No,
Not
they've
really.
leveled off.
They have.
They haven't changed prices in months.
Exactly.
Except
So
when they come out with a new model.
a new model or a chip shortage. Those are the two things that will still get you a rising price or a high price.
Yeah.
But the truth is, if we're dealing in used equipment, especially, or if we're dealing in especially commercially sold used equipment or moderately expensive equipment, not real expensive equipment, you're going to see that stuff level off. I think it already has, and I think it might even be dropping a little bit. I've seen a few antennas I've been watching online that have actually gone down $10 in price over the last 3 months. So I think we're seeing this because I think we're starting to see a slowdown in people buying, which means that they're becoming desperate to move stock and get cash flow going again. And that's good for us. It's not necessarily good for the country, but it's good for us as hams. So I just wanted to put that out there. The same phenomenons probably would be true for model airplanes, model race cars, any other hobbies that you can think of out there where people would not necessarily do this as much if they don't have enough money. Those kind of things. They're also seeing a fall off. Like last year, there was actually vacations. People started really vacationing last year. Now this year, starting to see a fall off on air travel, a fall off on vacations, a fall off on people doing things, a week-long vacation and things. Why? Because before they wanted to do it because we had been locked up with COVID. Now a year later, we can't afford to do it anymore because of the recession. So we're actually we saw travel go way up last year, and now shot way back down this year because of the recession. So it's just interesting things that go on out there when the money gets like this. And notice I can discuss all this without even getting into the politics, because it doesn't matter how we got here. What matters is analyzing what's going on right now and figuring out what's going to happen. My prediction is ham radios will not get any more expensive over the next 2 years. In fact, they may actually get a little more inexpensive. Technology tends to always get less expensive anyway. That's why 30 years ago to buy a really good 2-meter handheld was probably $1,000.
Yeah.
I can buy this now for $35 and it does everything, and it comes with all kinds of accessories. So radios have gotten cheaper. You know, a great example, Trey talks about this a lot at work on the radio. One of the really cool things, I don't know if you guys have ever actually thought about this, but one of the really cool things that's happened over the years is inch per inch. Every single year, televisions have gotten cheaper since they were invented. Every single year. Think about that.
Yeah, I heard you talk about this.
Yeah, it's true. It's one of those things where every single year televisions become cheaper to own. There was a time when a television was called a television set because it was a set of tubes and they all had to work and you had to get them fixed and you had to take your tubes down and test them in the tube tester. And it was a pain in the ass. And people would pay for 5, 6, 7 years on a TV loan on their TV that in today's dollars and adjusted dollars would be a $4,000 unit.
And they're probably still paying on it too.
Probably still, they've refinanced the damn thing 5 times.
The damn
by
TVs
now.
in the junk pile someplace.
Exactly. So, and every year it got cheaper and cheaper and cheaper.
Not
and
only
then,
that, it was a little small tube that when you set it across the room, you practically had to watch it with a pair of binoculars.
I know, but if you sat any closer, you would get irradiated. So
That's right.
yeah, it was one of those things. But then finally they came out with the, I can remember the very first plasma screen. I went to Bill Smith and saw the very first plasma screens that were in town. They were $21,000 for a 50-inch plasma screen. This was probably 96-ish, give or take a year. And they had this thing in there, and we went in there and we sat in that couch for like 20 minutes. I think they kicked us out. We're not going to buy it. We just want to look at it. But we sat there, and that was the prettiest thing we'd ever saw in our life. And they had this, we didn't even have high def available yet from the cable company or the broadcast companies, but you could buy things to put in it that were in high def. Like you could play DVDs on it that were in high def. And I can just remember it was like looking through a window, but that thing was $21,000. You could buy the 32-inch model for $16,500. And yeah, I mean, you know, if you were some kind of cheap ass, but yeah, I mean, this thing was beautiful. And now the plasma, they don't even sell the plasma screens anymore. I saw the other day, I got a guy that I work with, Jake, the morning producer, Jake the millennial, called me up. I got a 50-inch screen here. You want it? Yes, I do. In fact, I'm going to put it behind me up here so I can like put stuff behind me. I think it'll be pretty cool.
Is it a plasma or is it
no, I don't even think they make plasmas anymore. This is
plasmas cause RFI.
This is a little, yes, they do.
You may not be able to hear anything on HF at all.
They're also a thermal heater too. They used to put out as much heat as a tube unit. But the new cold the cold cathodes did really good. I think this is going to be a cold cathode. But the LED TVs now do great. Several of these are LED and they got the cleanest, nicest picture on them. Even the cost of electricity for a TV goes down every year. And the cost per channel to have cable goes down every year. I want you to think about that. We used to pay $50 a month to have 12 channels in HBO. Then just 5 years later, we were paying $50 a month, but we were getting 32 channels in HBO. So as we go into time, the channels every year, those channels for the number of channels, because now you have an unlimited amount of channels. for $50 a month. You can watch anything ever that's ever been made by humans in existence now, right now.
So
Now
you're
tell
gonna
me
look
that
for
ain't freaking cheap, huh?
Star Trek episodes or anything else you want to look
You
at.
can watch anything. I went back today, this morning. I wanted to put something on in the background. I was watching Space 1999. I love that show. You guys remember that show?
Oh yeah.
God, I love that show. Martin Landau, Barbara Bain. Great show. Was written by Gary Anderson, produced it. It was a British, Italian, American sci-fi drama that the second season turned into a dry sci-fi thriller. It didn't do as well as a lot of the other sci-fi shows, but it was such a great concept. Anyway, check it out, Space 1999. It was a great show. It came at 75, and I think the second season was 77, I think. They tried to reinvent it, and it didn't go so well.
What was the one that Gil Gerard was in?
Oh, that was Battlestar Galactica, wasn't it?
No, where he woke up many years ahead.
Oh, though, that was Buck Rogers in the 25th century.
Yeah, and
yeah, Biggie. What's up, Buck?
Twiggy.
Yeah, exactly. That's where tweaking came from.
Yeah.
But I'm just totally made that up. Anyway, but yeah, that was Buck Rogers. And Buck Rogers was a little comic bookish for me.
Yeah.
But you better believe I watched it. It was sci-fi, blinking lights and
yeah.
shit. Yeah, I loved me some Buck Rogers. Battlestar Galactica was great. The second season was dismal, but the first season was really good. And I'll tell you what, if you want a good sci-fi series that you probably missed, the remake of Battlestar Galactica from about 15 years ago, you can still get it on several different streaming services. Oh my God, that's probably one of the best sci-fis that's not Star Trek out there. They had
I watched that whole thing.
Oh, is that not good?
Yeah.
Edward James Olmos is the Admiral Adama. Oh, he's so good.
Yep, that was good.
Oh man, that's a good one. Anyway, what else you guys want to talk about? We're talking movies now tonight in our movie section.
Yeah.
I don't really care at this point. I'm getting ready to go to bed. I haven't even ate dinner yet, so.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, we've been doing really.
I
good
could do what
the...
Joseph does and just eat it right in front of you while I'm talking. I could do that. Hi, I'm hosting.
Oh, I have something I can show.
Okay.
Oh.
Over to you.
Let me pull up my screen share here. So this is something that we've talked about in the past briefly, but we've talked about AI before, right? And we've talked about, how it's becoming smarter and smarter and everything. Michael's over there laughing because he knows what's going to happen.
Google is Skynet.
This is the next best thing right here. This is called DALL-E. So it is an AI which can generate pictures based on text prompts. You can request things that don't exist and it will make them. And it is freakily accurate, and like the pictures that it makes are extremely realistic. So if we go over here and we want to
say, give me an example because I'm intrigued.
Yeah, so I typed in laptop computer down here. You can see it looks kind of weird, but it also looks like a computer. So let's type what if we type a man holding held radio walking in a field. See what this does. So you type in a prompt. See, here's the little examples, and it will use AI to generate 4 examples of what you typed. And you can see here, I'll go through some of the other ones I did. Here we go. So here we have, this looks like almost completely realistic. You can see his face looks a little weird, and the radio, I don't know what model radio that is, but it looks a little mushy.
You can tell he just said, you should not be on this frequency, and I'm about to report you to the FCC.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
That's what it looks like he's saying. And that guy's like, no, don't report me, dude. I didn't know. Come on, man. I didn't know. I knew it was a 5.2.
I don't know what's up with this one. I did.
I love that rate. What's that radio he's holding?
I don't know, but I typed in the other when I first
That's
got
a
it.
Bow Freak.
Okay, I did this one the other day. I typed in the exact Motorola
Looks like
radio I
cell
have,
phones.
That
and
is
it made
weird.
some alien technology. Like, what is this?
That would be cool, like a Stargate episode right there.
This is like a free prop generator. Like, have you ever seen that in real life? Or what about
No.
this? It's got like 40 circular.
That looks
shiny
like it's been
buttons,
bejeweled.
and this is like, what is that? It's
Those
got
are
a
How
so
kind of bullshit is that?
Really lettering
Made
in
in
there.
China, you know?
This thing has got like a circle. It's like an iPod or something.
It's definitely Goa'uld technology.
I also did what did I do? Cookie simulator explosion after making nuclear pancake. So when you I did nuclear pancake, and it like that kind of looks like a nuclear waffle exploding, I guess.
Can you have it make the perfect girl?
Mm,
Don't
I
tell
don't
me
know.
you haven't played with that now.
You might-
it has. So if you
Exploding.
type in something like a political figure or anybody who's even slightly controversial, it won't generate the image. So it's got limits on that. What else did I did? Oh, I did this 400-foot tall Pringles can in a cityscape. Whenever it puts words in a picture, it kind of
Puts the wrong words
Yeah,
for
Bingo.
copyright.
bingo.
That's Pingo.
Look,
It's not pinga.
bingo. What else do we
Bingo.
have? Oh yeah,
That could
this
be a
was
sex toy in there. You don't know.
this was small baby driving a car in a city. I guess
That's-
there you go. There you have a baby driving a car. This
And-
was my hamburger. A while back, we were on a road trip, and I basically combined every single menu item of every fast food restaurant and made this gigantic hamburger. Because you know how like you go to Wendy's and it's like Impossible Super Stacker or whatever. So I combined all that into this massive long burger, and this is what it came up with. And you can see it actually got some egg in that one,
That
some
looks
bacon
good,
there.
man.
I would eat that. It looks like it looks
Two to
like it's,
go.
you know what's
Too
good
much
about that
jam.
second one?
That
there?
almost looks like a good breakfast, you
No,
know?
go back to that second one. It looks like it's on French toast.
It is,
It
isn't it?
does.
Yes,
A hamburger with eggs on French toast. I'm in.
This is-
Send me one,
This is a
I'll
breakfast
take
hamburger.
two.
and I'll probably eat it with ketchup and syrup. That
There you
shit's
go.
good now. No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. I don't know if I'm that crazy, but yeah, that's pretty cool, man. What can we think of to make it make?
I'll take
Yeah,
two
well-
waitresses to go with nothing on them.
I did what did I do over here? I tried a few. I think I typed in, oh yeah, this one I did Southwest Florida TechNet, and it came up with looks like a radio tower, some feed lines. I don't know what the circles are.
That looks like a grounding setup.
Yeah. And then it came up with more like radio tower.
Those are isolators. Yeah.
It's like it was trained on like a million pictures. But I tried to do this afternoon. I tried to do mystery drink. What a mystery drink is where I go in the fridge and I take a bunch of random ingredients and I put them in a cup, and I make a mystery drink and I try and get somebody to drink it. So I tried to make it white paper cup with purple question marks, and like that looks like a real picture.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it did surprisingly well on like look at this one. It's got a question mark coming out of the cup. You don't know what it's going to taste like. But you can mess around with this. It doesn't do political people.
You could really have some fun with it with political people, but you
Yeah,
know,
I tried to getting like a Hitler speech or something. Like I tried to generate that, and it was like no, it wouldn't generate Trump or Biden. It wouldn't generate Elon Musk.
or Donald Trump.
Yeah, it wouldn't do that, and I can kind of understand why, because it's like hyper realistic. Like if we do woman sitting in a coffee shop
labs.openai.com.
looking at a laptop. Like there's just a thing I made here. The pictures it generates are sometimes so realistic you can't even tell they're fake. So you could use this to, generate so a political person doing something unfavorable or whatever. Like, look at this, like that right there. That looks really, really good.
You have to have an account to use
That
it.
face looks messed up, but
Whoa,
That looks like something out of Halloween.
yeah, this one kind of weird too.
that looks
Oh,
more
what if we
like
do
something
like
out
a-
of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
You know what this would be good though for is making all kinds of pictures to put in your fake Google account with your fake name. Karen reprimanding some kids for operating on ham radio.
Let's see what it comes up with.
It's thinking.
Do you have to have an account for this?
So you have to join a wait list, and you put your email in there, and it took them about a week to accept me to the wait list.
Hmm.
What? What is this?
Oh my God, dude.
His
That
fingers
kid-
are going inside his face.
No, go back to that picture for a second. The kid's got two mouths. The kid on the left's got two mouths, and he
Yeah.
also has 6 fingers. I think we really need to talk about this kid on the left. He's got
Wow.
2 mouths, 6 fingers, and then his goofy dad there in the middle.
His
Look at
hand
this guy.
going out of
Must
his
be a
mouth.
Chernobyl mutant or something.
One eye, I don't know, man. And
Oh,
then the
kid on
son
the
on the
right.
right. Yep, he's
He's
got 4
2
eyes. Yeah, I
He's
there's
got
something
sexual-
when you call that kid 4 eyes, you ain't kidding.
At least it's got a tower in the background.
Dude, I
got
gotta
that
tell you,
part
that's
right.
freakish right there. And that kid's fingers. What's up with them fingers?
I don't know. His finger is like mushing into the guy in the middle's arm or something. This one's kind of weird too.
Oh my God. That's what Skeletor's wife looks like.
Oh, man.
Oh
Oh,
my
man.
God. And look at her shirt. It says Klala Haskatanekeses and stuff.
Oh, shit.
And I don't know.
She looks
I'm
like
not
the
trying to
key
be
a
nasty, but
house.
I can't figure out where that wire's connected to on
The
her radio.
handheld.
It looks like it's no, I don't know where. I don't know anything about that. You
That
can't get-
woman would be a good.
you can't
candidate
plug in there
to
for
sleep in the
power.
house.
What's going on here? Look at that kid. He's like, kiss me.
So I don't think it handled that one very well.
Oh
No.
my Lord. Oh, this is funny. This is hilarious.
Some of this stuff is pretty good.
What else do we want to do? You can do like I was
Dog riding a bicycle or some goofy thing.
This is freakish, man.
I spelled bicycle. There we go.
You're worse than me.
I remember, I know how to spell it. I just mistyped it and I was lazy, so I just click it and place the thing. Let's see what it comes to. It'll probably be pretty good.
Jesus Christ.
The first one was hilarious.
I think that's not a dog riding a bike. That's one of those experiments where the dog was beamed down and the bike was there.
If you just had to name this picture, it'd be called the experiment.
Materialized inside. What was that? What was that? Oh, that experiment on that ship, the Eldridge. I can't remember the name of the experiment they did with where the guys were like half in the decks and stuff.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You've used all your credits.
Oh, I forgot about that. I guess I can't generate any more now. Oh man,
No.
I
Type.
forgot it had a limit. Oh well, I can.
The
make another
funniest part
account.
is go to that second one real quick. Let's look at the second one. That dog's having sex with the bicycle. I think that's obscene.
Not sure what he's doing, but I don't want to see it anymore.
Looks like he's about to be run over by the person.
I
riding the
think he's
bike.
just too small for that bicycle. That's the problem.
Well, he's tucked tail and he's running, I guess.
Yeah.
His face is broken too.
But look at these trees. It's like a single tree.
I know this is so cool that it does all this though. It's like
Yeah. I don't know what these two are. I don't see any bicycle in that one, and this one is like a
That looks
painting
more
and
like a
drawing.
cat to me than a
that's a
dog.
cat.
Yeah, that's definitely
that's-
a cat.
That's a
It's not
feline.
like
Tail.
Oh, I can read what that sign is Russian for I'm not a dog.
Ruski. Yeah, that's Russian.
Oh no, it says, do you have vodka?
Or it's Chinese. I don't know.
I don't know. I sometimes it's obviously English, and sometimes I had another one I generated that had Russian in it. Oh yeah, billboard advertising spaghetti. There you can see what it does when it tries to generate text.
Spaghetti bite.
What is this? It's this spaghetti, and it has like noodles coming out of the bottom.
That's
The
bizarre.
sign makes the noodles. I love it. You just pull up underneath
Spaghetti.
and grab some.
Spaghetti.
Just get some of that, man. It shit's shooting out, man.
And of course we have.
Yeah, if you want to get spaced out on drugs one night, this would be the site to visit while you're doing that.
I want some.
Yes.
I'm gonna probably go make me some spathette for dinner.
What's that?
Spathite.
Spathite.
What did I do here? Oh, nuclear gum pack.
Single hair.
This is where it does it that you can definitely tell it's like Russian.
Noogle Guam.
Magoo.
Migul. Greguli. Greg.
Today we're featuring the Noogle Guam. Your nuts will feel great when they have Noogle Guam rubbed all over them.
Grill gooked. What is that? Gil.
It's not the fake group, it's the real group. That's right. You better believe it.
Who can read this?
And
though? What
whatever
does
you
this
do,
say?
don't forget the Noogle Guam.
What does this down here say? This looks Russian to me. Has at least a couple symbols that look like Russian.
I have no idea.
What
Michael,
else do they do?
make sure you clean your Michael with Noogle Guam.
Oh yeah, I did this one. Hotel room in underground mine.
I'd stay there.
I mean, that looks like a hotel room in underground mine to me.
I'd stay there. That's a cool place.
Yeah.
That's
It's even
pretty
got
cool.
this. It's even got the sealed floors that they would likely to have.
Stalactites or stalagmites.
That's kind of neat right there. That looks pretty good.
Yeah.
And that's but when you go to sleep, now you have this rock hanging from the ceiling, ready to fall on you.
Yeah, but it's been there a million years. What's the chances of tonight? You know.
I don't know. You might, if you sneeze in your sleep, it may finally be the last little thing that makes it fall down.
Yeah, or you wake up and bump your head on it or something.
Mm-hmm.
Ouch.
And then you're squashed. I also experimented with bedroom with toilet next to bed and shower head over top of bed. It didn't put the shower head over the top of the bed very well. This was kind of good. You can see there's like,
That's
like,
a weird ass looking
that,
phone.
I don't know. I have this fascination with like toilets being in the wrong place. Levitating toilet in a house.
There you go.
That's hilarious.
And that one, they call that the dual plopper because it plops twice.
It's got like a pool underneath it or something.
There you go.
The best one that we got, I tried to do toilet mounted to ceiling hang from roof. I don't know what this piece of equipment is. It's a bunch of like.
I don't want to stand under it though.
It looks like it looks like the bottom of a you'd be sit on the crapper and the Saturn V rocket blasts off. Yeah.
Oh
This,
my
I think
lord.
that. This was the best one right here.
You need
This
to
was
make
the
a
most
website.
accurate.
You need to make a website and put, here's some of my better inventions that I've come up with, and then just make up some bullshit to go with each one.
Well, it is the head.
This is underneath.
Oh
the-
my God, that's what you need to do. Oh, there you
With
go.
just the toilets alone, you can have.
What did I do for this one? This was like this one's like hyper realistic because I did a toilet mounted to wall, but this one, what does this one have, like a garden hose going into it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's whatchamacallit, the
Hey,
spray.
Yeah, it's
Bidet.
a douche amount. A
Bidet.
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 hey, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Which I
French,
wish I had.
That's French for shoot it out of your ass.
Spray your ass, yeah.
They have those all across Europe, and they're amazed that we haven't adopted that.
Yeah,
Really?
they're making fun
I'm
of
amazed
us.
that people actually think that little stream of water is going to spray the shit out of my ass. That's what really surprises me.
And there
Anyway.
it is. I like that pink one and that second one. It looks like
This one.
Jesus Christ.
How did they come up with that?
What is that?
What'd you put? Chick in a toilet?
No, I put toilet on a spinning platform. And then
oh,
Get out of that toilet with your big. Look at the lips on her. I'd say what that mouth's for, but I won't.
we don't go in there.
Nah, we'll leave that alone.
You must be getting tired.
I'm very tired. You guys have no idea. By the time I get to this point on Friday, I'm done. What'd you put? Child riding a lawnmower?
A baby cutting the grass on a lawnmower that has a baby chair for a seat.
You should have done that, but put that also has twin 50 caliber weapons on it.
There you go. Ready
Dude,
for
what is
IC-85 in Atlanta. What
Oh,
a
that's an
smell.
alien.
That's an alien baby right there.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know why all the babies are turned
United States.
backwards. They're all like, this one looks like a car seat, like half of it a car seat.
They're gonna make the kids sit on the motor. I mean, it's like, okay, that's gonna be warm.
What else did I do? I did the burger one. We saw that one. This was a picture frame on a wall, and the picture is brown beans. Like, that's kind of artistic.
Creative.
That was pretty
Beans
good.
in a bar. I was trying to get just like a picture of beans. I did this one, which is geostationary satellite in space. That one did pretty good. Like, there's a satellite, just a generic satellite. There's another one. That one's kind of close.
You should say a space satellite orbiting Earth made out of a Buick.
I wish I could do it again. Why do I have to buy credits?
Oh man,
How do I buy? How much is credits? Oh my gosh,
that's too much.
that's expensive.
That's ignorant.
Oh, geez.
Not if it was a ham radio, it wouldn't be.
No.
No, if it's a ham radio, I'd take 3.
Right.
$15
What else do I do?
My wife, one of her questions she asked me a long time ago is, why would you need more than one radio?
You don't understand. What was this?
Because whoever dies with the most radios wins.
Batman discovers nuclear
What's
treasure.
that
box.
second guy doing there? We'll just call him Nipples. What's he doing?
He's
Look at the eyes on that guy.
This
He
is
just-
Iran going on here.
He's discovering nuclear treasure.
Oh my God. And look what it did to his face when he opened the box. He was
That guy-
hit with 50,000 rads.
Sure was.
And look what it made his tits glow and his eyes blow up.
He looks like a dwarf.
Oh my
Big
God.
ass dwarf, man.
Oh my God. His mom was a garden gnome.
Freaking elephant.
Oh my
Ah.
Lord. This is hilarious. I have to
did,
buy this just to do this.
I tried to do some more realistic ones. Interior view of car driving at night on a I wrote dimly lit. I meant to write dimly lit road. This is pretty realistic, I would say.
Yeah.
Did okay with that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I tried to do swimming pool completely full of brown beans. It didn't quite understand the completely full idea because this is still full of water. Like, you can see there's water in this.
Mhm.
So it didn't quite get what I was going after. I wanted to pull completely full of beans, but
God,
I'd have done something like a jacuzzi full of Kentucky Fried Chicken gravy.
how about a car-sized cockroach parked in front of your house or something?
There you go.
go.
There you go.
That'd
This
be
is
a
the first
big
attempt.
cucaracha.
At the beans thing. I did this Chevrolet Suburban with ham radio antennas. This kind of gave some interesting results.
What kind of antenna is
I don't
that?
know what that
Yeah,
red thing
I
is.
think that's a standard type 2 subspace array. I'm pretty sure.
It might be, or the Ghostbusters thing they had on top of the car.
Yeah.
Looks
Yeah.
like that.
You're gonna go around sliming people, huh?
Look at that.
This
thing.
this one looked a bit better. It's obviously some kind of dish.
Well,
know
yeah,
what this-
it's a deflector array, and it's also got a phaser beam on there.
Oh man, can you imagine putting that on a car? That'd be so cool.
I know it would be. I wish my car had shields and I could just bump my way through traffic.
There you go.
Then if everybody had shields, though, then you'd have
What
another
what
problem.
is that black thing on top?
I think it's supposed to be a light bar, but it's black.
Wow. Yeah.
But
And it's
don't
being
know.
held up. It's being held up there by one thing.
yeah, this little post or this.
Maybe it's a
little thing.
ra- yeah, that thing.
little
It's like a,
round
maybe
thing
it
that looks
spins
like
around.
a piece of poop on the top there.
Maybe it's a marine radar.
Yeah, and it's
could be
spinning
that.
around. That's what it
Rotates,
is.
Yeah.
And
I
it's
don't know
take-
what's up with this one.
of course, as soon as you turn it on, it takes that other one right out. Looks like you got one of those emergency light things hanging on the top up there. Got some
Yeah.
emergency lights, and I got a couple of subwoofers just
Hey.
laying up there.
The police pulls you over and says, "What the hell is that on your car?"
I just find shit and put it on my roof. I don't.
I've seen trucks like that, like people who work at junkyards. I've seen trucks that every single little mag mount antenna they ever found, they stuck on their roof.
Yeah.
I've seen those. We had a guy in Florida who used to do that. He would occasionally come by the office. This one, I thought this was also neat. I just put in my car and see what it came up with. And I was like, it's like a mix between the modern car and the old car.
That is weird because none of them look like that.
It's like a
That's-
hybrid.
It's actually kind of a neat looking truck, though.
That's what I
That
thought.
one's
I
a
was
little
like,
weird. Yeah.
It's like a hybrid between the old and the new. And I was like, man, they should actually make that because that looks pretty cool. I like that design. This one was also pretty good. Same kind of thing, but different view. That was pretty cool. So it does do.
I'd have put a flying Chevy Suburban with phasers for headlights.
Oh man.
A Chevrolet
Um,
Suburban with an aircraft wing on it. You know?
There you go.
It'll do it. I wish I could generate more right now. I tried putting in different games like Geometry Dash. I tried putting this in, it just came up with a bunch of geometry. I tried putting in Minecraft and it did make looks like Legos kind of. It's a weird combination of colors because the game doesn't actually look exactly like that. What else did I do? Oh yeah, Dr. Mario on the Moon realistic. It does cartoons. So this one came out pretty good. Looks like Mario on the moon. Chef cooking a nuclear steak. It didn't do so well with this. I don't see what's nuclear about these steaks. It's got hair.
What is it?
Oh,
Ew.
wow.
What is
Looks
it?
like an alligator mouth or something.
Ew, I didn't notice that before.
And look at that freak that's looking at it.
It looks like he's
So
going to
excited.
grab it and eat the hang hole.
It looks like he's got shrimps on the ends of his fingers.
I
Jesus.
don't get that.
All right.
What the
There's a-
hell is that? It's literally like somebody bit into a rat.
I don't get that.
Awesome. Or
Here we
cook
have
What the hell is that? What
so
kind of
the-
knife is that?
It's
It's a side cutter.
a word that hasn't been invented yet. We have this. That face looks almost perfect. His eye looks a little weird right there, but
Yeah.
I don't know what he's doing to this, and I don't know what that
It don't do
is.
fingers well, does it?
Not really. It did fingers okay in this one. The hand, that hand looks.
Yeah, that looks
realistic.
normal.
That hand looks a little. No, that hand doesn't look right
Yeah.
either. There's a hole.
It looks right if it's been twisted around something 3 times.
Yeah.
It-
What is this? He's putting a tomato on some turkey slices or something. Is what it looks like.
It looks like raw chicken slices.
Oh, it looks more like
Yeah.
ham.
Mm.
No,
Maybe it is ham.
it's fingers.
No.
Zoom in on
The
that.
bitch is cooking fingers.
It's fingers. Can I actually zoom in? Not let me zoom
It is
Yeah.
fingers.
Actually, it's ham folded over.
It is. It's fingers, man.
Oh gosh,
What is this,
it's
Jeffrey
fingers,
Dahmer's
man.
refrigerator?
the AI is trying to send us a message.
You
It's
are what you eat.
fingers, man.
So that was the nuclear steak. It didn't do so well with that because I don't think it knows what a nuclear steak looks like.
Well, I got the radiation grew hair on the one.
It did. I did chef cooking a magnetic flank steak.
Another
doesn't
good one
look-
for you
It
next
doesn't
time.
look-
That don't look right.
No, it doesn't.
It looks
Something's-
like the one side was cooked on the road.
I don't know what this is. Those are some weird looking fingers. And
Scar.
I don't know what kind of
what's she
seasoning that
drizzling
is.
on that thing?
I don't know, but those hands look kind of freaky. I don't know if I want to eat meat that is prepared by those hands.
Especially with all the growths on her other hand down there.
Ew.
Oh, gross.
How about a spider?
This thing
doing
does not do
push-ups
hands.
on a mirror.
Ew. What is this? This one looks kind of good.
Looks like a spider.
It looks good, except it looks like somebody dropped like a necktie down in there underneath those steaks.
Those look like the markings on a black widow spider. Is what they
Yeah.
Yeah, that's still, it looks like a spider to me.
This one's better, but his hands
Oh.
are still all messed up.
Yeah, the hands are a mess, and that's just basically they've filleted that hair steak.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's disgusting. All right, next. I
it's a
put,
Delmonico hair steak.
I
Boneless
put
meat.
boneless pizza. It made it. Hey, to its credit, it made a boneless pizza. I don't
Well, it's
see
not
any
hard to
bone-
make a boneless pizza since most of them are.
I see no bones in this, and that pizza
No,
looks.
it's very successful.
Bones. You go to a pizzeria. I want everything, including bones. What?
Yeah, I know. I've got to get another account. I have a couple emails. I need to just click more. So yeah, I made pizza. That pizza looks like a real thick picture of pizza, but it gets by because it can blur stuff together and it doesn't look out of place. So that looks like a real
good.
pizza.
I'm hungry.
And then one of the last ones was explosion after making nuclear pancake. None of these really look like pancakes. This is the closest. It looks like a waffle that blew up.
Nuclear, you know?
I don't know what this is.
Instead of a glitter bomb, it's a cake bomb.
Anybody can tell me what that is. I don't know what that is. Is that a tomato slice?
Ah, I don't know, but I don't want to be in the room when it goes off.
This looks like some kind of nachos or something.
Exploding nachos. You know?
Yeah,
They have that at Taco Bell?
I was like,
Oh,
what
I'm
is that?
sure they got everything at Taco Bell.
Yeah, I bet you've had that before, probably.
Probably.
I don't know what that is. It looks like a chunk of spaceship or something.
Looks like somebody knocked the guts out of a donut.
Yeah. For our last one, we have a ham Radio Shack. And it did okay. This is the most
That one's
realistic
actually
looking
pretty
one.
cool. I would use that as a ham shack.
Yeah. Doubles as a Faraday shield.
Yeah, and I love the roof. I love the flat roof. You can put stuff up there and do stuff with it.
Go up there and add stuff easily. Yeah.
Yeah.
The antenna on the left is kind of interesting.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. I don't know what kind of antenna that is. I've never seen that before.
That's a 5-point $1.50 meter.
$1.50 meter.
Yeah, it's a 5-point unidirectional cross polarized dipole uni 1.5.
Yeah, I got 2 of those in storage, man.
Yeah, but do
Sure
you
you
have
do.
do you have the 23X model? That's the question,
No.
because that one actually rotates both directions.
No,
That one comes with a parametric flam.
Yes. Yes.
that other one actually looks like a repeater antenna.
Yeah, it almost looks like a Ringo Ranger or something like that.
It also does collinear tachyon bursts as well.
Is that a
That's
dish?
Tachyon burst. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
some kind of dish there or something.
You haven't spoke to somebody until you've spoken to them in tachyons.
We have this looks like kind of like a shack almost. I don't know what this equipment on the side is. You can't see very much, but it's definitely in a forest. We have this one. It's interesting too how it does the camera angles. Like this one is done obviously from right next to it. This one though looks like somebody zoomed in on it from a distance. Like the
Looks
field
like
of
a-
view.
Double outhouse.
Yeah.
Hey, if there was an outhouse ham shack combination, you'd never ever leave.
You need to put a toilet on top of that.
Yeah, people ask me, your ham shack's got everything. I'm like, no, it doesn't. There's no urinal.
You gotta mount your
If
radio.
I had a
head above
urinal,
your
I'd
truck.
go in the house twice a day for food.
Gotta get get the separatable faceplate on your radio and put one on top of the toilet.
I'm thinking about putting one of those in my bedroom eventually,
Yeah, you should. Those would be good.
just so I can, monitor stuff and listen to
Hey,
stuff.
that TYT 9800 that you have, doesn't it have the separatable faceplate?
Yep.
Well, if it has, I believe it uses either like a RJ11 or RG45, one or the other. I
Mhm.
think it's RG45. It has that plug, and you could literally just take Ethernet cable and make like a super long cord that could run into your house.
I could do that, and I could just buy another faceplate. And then when I go in the
Right.
house, just unplug the one that's out here and plug the one that's in the house in.
Yeah,
Well,
I wonder
it-
if there's
it
any kind of
doesn't-
limit.
I don't think it conforms to the standard as far as the wiring.
Well, it doesn't matter as long as both items are the same on either end.
Well, and I can make the wires. I haven't done that in a while, but I know how to do it.
Because I know that the 8900 has an RJ. What's the one with 6
45.
pins?
14,
I don't think it's RJ11. No, it is RJ11.
that'd be RJ 14.
Well, I got mine right here.
Eleven
That's
is
what I
the
have.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
RJ
telephone
45.
wire.
Yeah.
You don't even need
RJ
Ethernet.
45 is your Ethernet.
Yeah, I think it is just telephone wire, actually.
Is it
But,
Ethernet
yeah,
or is it
anyway.
a smaller telephone? Anyway, so you could make an extension and then you'd need another extension for the audio, but I bet the voltage drop would not be too much. In our office, we have the radio body is actually up in the roof above the ceiling tiles. The radio is up there. And then we have like a 50-foot, well, not 50-foot, but it's like 20 foot of run of Ethernet cable to the faceplate, and then another just an audio extension cable, and it works fine. It's a ICOM ID 4100.
Yeah, this has a.
It comes with a pretty long cable as it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, that's not what we
This
have. We
is
have
not an Ethernet cable. It is a
That's what
6-pin
we have.
telephone cable.
Yep, that's the same thing that the Yaesu has. So you could get telephone cable. You could just buy a 6-pin telephone extension wire. I'm sure they're like $0 on Amazon. They're probably free.
Yeah, you can get this stuff pretty cheap.
Like you might
Um,
need like 50 feet. They're
Yeah,
$7. You can extend it into your house.
RJ 11. That's gonna be 4 conductor.
Oh, right. We need the six pin conductor.
6, you need it like, yeah.
You have to specify. There's 2 different versions. What is this? Is this a 6 pin? 2 conductor, 2 pin, 1 line. Well, you'd have to find one with 6 pin, but
Try putting in
Yeah.
RJ 14. Instead of RJ 11.
I got mine stuck right below. I got a little piece of rubber there, and I got it stuck right below my monitor. It's perfect. It's
There you
right
go.
below. And then I got the mic just hooked right here. I got it. The mic hook is velcroed onto my thing right here, and my mic just hooks right on there. It's
Just like
perfect.
the connection on my Kenwood TS 480 with 6 conductor.
Yeah, so I mean that's a good idea. I could literally just bury a speaker line and a 6-pin phone line and bury it into the house and run it up into my my nightstand there, and then just put the other head on it. And then anytime I need it, I just have to unplug it and plug it in there. And the speaker I can leave on all the time and just put a little volume knob on it. So even if I don't hook the radio up, I can still go in there and listen to it. I can leave it on.
Might have a problem getting just the faceplate though. I don't know if you can order just the faceplate. That's always, I don't know what's up with that. I don't know if I can't get just a faceplate, like, because that would be less expensive than buying a whole radio and then having a radio
Not
that you
really.
don't use.
I mean, if I get enough money together, I'll sell you my second one for $150. But I don't have enough money together.
Cable. I don't know where you would get just the front plate.
I don't think, if you go to their website, I don't even think you could.
Maybe if you would like emailed them directly and were like requested it straight from them, it might, because sometimes these companies will cooperate in that way.
I hope there's not like Uniden was. I called
Ooh.
Uniden. I wanted some parts, rubber pieces for a scanner. And they're like, well, we don't sell those.
Oh man.
What do you mean you don't sell them? I said, no, you have to send us the whole radio. Yeah, right. Mhm.
Ugh. That's not fun. What else is there? I guess we went through all our pictures on here. That was the last picture. So anyway, this thing's pretty fun.
Tell looks like some kind of egg or something.
Yeah. What else? I didn't do
Bean.
anything today. Yeah, I did a lot of bean stuff. But this is pretty neat. Once I get more credits, I'll mess with it more. I'll make a couple more accounts and everything. But it does use up their server space, so it's understandable that they'd have a limit, but still kind of not very much. There was something else I want to show. Oh yeah, this thing. At Hamfest, we met the guys who actually managed this. This is the, what is it called? RHR. It's called Remote Ham Radio. Okay, here it is. So it's Remote Ham Radio, and what it is there's a whole bunch of stations set up that are connected to the internet, just like what we were thinking of doing for the tech team. They've done this, and you can sign up and you can pay money to do it. It's not super cheap as far as I know, because you're using like a real station. So there's this Remote Ham Radio, but they have a youth program, which I got into. So the youth thing is pretty cool. You get to use it for free until you're 25, and you don't have quite as many stations to choose from, but I mean, they're good stations. So the way this works is you hit connect. Oh, and they have like big amplifiers on all of them too. So like if you want to put the hammer down, you want to put the power down. There's a couple on here that have 1500 watt amps. I think they're all down. Okay. This one has a 500 watt amp. This one here has a directional antenna and 500 watt amp. So what you do is you connect. I wonder why that's there. We're on the FT frequency. Let me get off that.
So it's definitely an SDR.
It's an SDR. Yeah, Flex Radio is what this is all built on. So if you know what Flex Radio is,
Oh yeah.
Expensive.
yeah, very. But you can do cool stuff like this. So
Yeah,
you have your radio side of things, and then down here you can actually rotate the Yagi. So if I want to point it towards Ian here, where would I point it? Would I go like this? There we go. It's rotating, and then I'm going to hit stop rotor when it's over Florida. 3, 2, 1, stop. Okay, now we're over Florida. So our beam is pointed at Florida now. Now, if we want to, I don't know why I have separate RX and TX frequencies. I don't know what's up with that. All right, let's see if we can go on 7.300. Will this one do? I don't know if this one will do 40 meters. We're on 1407. Why do I have two separate transmit and receive frequencies? I don't know why this one has that. What do? Oh, you know what? I'm in I'm not in AM mode, or I'm in FT8 mode. Actually, that would be upper sideband, wouldn't it? There we go. Now it's like I was expecting. So this is like a full-blown HF transceiver in your web browser. We're pointed at Florida right now. Let me make sure that Brave is able to record from my actual microphone. Then I can transmit. Kilo Mike 4, Oscar Victor Zulu, KM4 OVZ testing. I think we tried to use this during Hamfest to get in touch with Ian, but he was barely able to hear us because the conditions were not super good. Let me go to 14.2.4. So yeah, I don't have an HF set up right now because our HOA. So this is kind of what we can use during the meantime. But we have power here. Let's see. 100 watt. Oh yeah, that's just that. But we also have the amp, I believe, full. Kilo Mike 4, Oscar Victor Zulu testing. Putting out about 120 watts. I thought this was a 500 watt version. Oh, maybe my transmit audio is really low. Right? Kilo Mike 4, Oscar Victor Zulu testing. KM4 OVZ testing. Using the right camera microphone? Yeah, it is. Anyway, just kind of neat system here. I get to use it for free, which is pretty cool. I don't know. The remote ham radio is not the same as operating on your own station. It's not as fun. But it is cool. We were doing slow scan TV with it last night. I had it on 14.230. And there was a ton of slow scan TV activity. But it's just a neat system. Thought it was cool. I can point the beam wherever.
All right, so you're on 14.230 right now?
Yeah, let me go to 14.240 actually. That way we're not on the SSTV frequency. See if we can hear you. Let me turn on share sound. Oh, I can't turn on share sound. It's grayed out. Why?
Huh.
I don't know why it's grayed out. That's dumb. Don't have to take my word for it. Are you on there, Ian? Yeah. I wonder if I have mine. Oh. I had it at 3 watts for some reason.
Well, it just went back to 3 watts.
What? Is that the drive for the amplifier, maybe? That might be what that is. I don't know. This said 500 watt when I clicked it, so I don't know what's up with that, but KM4 OVZ testing. KM4 OVZ testing. Putting on 100 watts. Are you on the frequency? Yeah, let me point the beam a little bit. I'm already pointed.
Well, I'm pointing just about straight to that thing because I'm heading towards the northeast.
KM4 OVZ calling KO4 EFS.
EFS calling KM4 OVZ.
No, we're not seeing anything. Let's go. Let's try 40 meters.
Like I said, I can listen to 40, but I can't really tune it.
Oh, okay. What other band can you do?
Well, tonight that's really all there is 20.
Oh, okay.
17's closing down, and I can't go above 20. So,
I don't know. 20 probably goes a bit further than probably going over the top of you.
Yeah.
Or the band's just not open right now. That's always a possibility. But it's a pretty neat system. You can see where your beam's pointing.
I know. I like that.
You can zoom out. This has this whole spotting system too. So if you see somebody's call, yeah, the band is not doing real good right now.
You can't access any of this without paying for it, though. You can't even like receive without paying for it, right?
Yes, unless you are youth.
Yeah.
So
I'm not youth, I can guarantee it.
now I have it pointed towards North America, and now all these stations are popping up. That's pretty cool.
Listen, guys, it's past my bedtime.
All righty, we probably need
Yeah.
to wrap it up anyway.
Yeah, I'm done too. So whenever you guys are done, we're gonna call it.
I will catch you all next week.
All right. Well, have a good
See
night.
ya.
Have a good weekend, and we'll catch you later.
Rock and roll.
All right. Does anybody else have anything else before we let her go?
No, I mean,
Not the
Nothing.
you're doing the YouTube, I guess.
Yep, I'm gonna go ahead and shut down the YouTube. Everybody that's on YouTube, thanks for joining us tonight, and we'll be back next week to do it again. This is Ian KO4 EFS with Joseph KM4 OVZ and the entire TechNet crew here as we say 7 3s and good night from North Fort Myers and for wherever everybody else is. Have a good night out there, and we'll see you next week on the Southwest Florida TechNet. To find out more, look in the description of the video or go to www.swfltech.net. That's www.swfltech.net. And we'll see you guys next week on the TechNet. Have a good one.